There we go. We are live now at 6:01, and there's a reason why it's 6:01 instead of 6 o'clock. And the reason we are a little late getting the live stream started is whose fault is it, Parker?
It's Tony's fault.
It's Tony's fault.
Messed us up.
Tony put a comment up, and we hadn't started the live stream yet, and we could not figure out how is he commenting on a live stream that hasn't started. Turns out there's a page that says waiting for the live stream to start on YouTube. So Tony actually kicked off the show before we did, but we had to figure that out. So we're a minute late, and it's your fault, Tony. But hey, good morning. Thanks. You learned us something new today. We appreciate that. The show itself, Tony here or not, we're going to get started at 6:06 across the Civic Media Radio Network. We will be talking to candidate for governor Kelda Roys and John and Gordy from our Madison station, Dr. Kristen Lyerly. Salina Heller will talk about a Wisconsin mom and what Medicaid cuts would mean for her adult son and his ability to hold a job. One of the things we won't talk about on air, but just for you folks here is you go, what's wrong with him? He cut himself shaving. You can only bleed for so much though, and then you have to turn the camera off. So hopefully we have stemmed that. Let's see. We've got Jimmie Kaska is going to talk about the Packers. Meh. The Badgers. Brewers lost. But hey, the Cubs lost, so we're Central Division champs. So we've got all that and more coming up in just over 3 minutes across the Civic Media Radio Network and right here. We'll see you soon.
Now, law enforcement will be adding extra patrols in those spots this week. And now a ticket for illegally passing a school bus will cost you a whole lot more. The penalty increased in 2024, so a citation will now cost $676.50 and 4 demerit points on your license. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
The Brewers do it again. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, the Brewers are divisional champs of the NL Central. Although they lost yesterday 5-1 to the Cards, the Reds swept the Cubs, so Milwaukee divisional champs for a third year in a row. Manager Pat Murphy.
Well, just this team finds a way. They're resilient, and they're guys that have a special it factor.
NFL, the Packers shocked by the Browns, losing 13-10 on a walk-off field goal by Cleveland defensive end Micah Parsons.
Man, it's like a movie sometimes how football works. I just think towards the end of the game they play better than us, and we got to play all 4 quarters of football.
College football, the Badgers losing at home to Maryland Saturday, 27-10, and now headed into the bye.
We've got a challenge. I felt like the culture of this team and the things that we did in the offseason and fall camp was something that was a lot stronger than what we have had. We're going to find out how strong it is. That's where we're going to have to go because this thing doesn't get any easier.
That's head coach Luke Fickell with Sports on Mike Clemens.
92.7 WMDX, Madison's real news and great conversation, and home to the Todd Allball Show, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Some patchy fog possible early, otherwise a mix of clouds and sun. An isolated shower or storm possible in the afternoon with highs in the mid to upper 70s. A better chance for showers and thunderstorms tonight, a mild night with lows in the lower 60s. It's 58 at our studios.
Hey, Gordy, I got to admit, these hearing aids from Madison Hearing Aid Center changed my life.
Mine too, John. I thought I needed subtitles to talk to my grandkids.
And these aren't those old giant clunkers we saw in the old days. It's got Bluetooth, it's rechargeable, the works.
Yeah, my phone connects straight to my ears. I'm basically a cyborg now.
Hey, you just figured out texting last year, too.
Yeah, baby steps. But I did call Madison Hearing Aid Center, and you should too. 608-249-4077.
608-249-4077. Tell them John and Gordy sent you.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, why throw your hat in the ring to become governor, especially in times like this?
Folks are tired of politicians who focus on cultural and partisan issues versus delivering real resources going to change lives. And that's what we've done in Milwaukee County. And so my calling is being able to be there for people.
Who's ready to do a show? Y'all ready to do a show?
I mean, Tony's ready.
I mean, Tony. I mean, taking credit already. So, yeah, I guess we'll do this.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Minnesota studio, here is the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Well, hey there, Wisconsin. Good morning. It is 6:06 on a Monday morning, September 22nd, 2025. Another beautiful morning to have you here up north, live from Lake Minnesota, from wherever you're spending your mornings, listening across the Civic Media Radio Network or joining us through social media, podcast, however you got here. Great to have you starting your week right here. I got a question for you. What will you do with your final 7 hours of summer? Because we have just about run out of summertime. Fall officially begins at 1:19 this afternoon, our time, when the sun is right over the equator. Though, let's be honest, it already feels like fall for multiple reasons. Well, the Packers are playing, which sometimes breaks our heart. The Badgers are playing, meh. And the Brewers are playing fall baseball once again, which is pretty cool. So we're leaving summer behind. And so let me ask the question another way. What is the best part of fall in Wisconsin? What's your favorite thing about being here? What's your favorite thing to do? Do you go someplace in particular to see fall colors? Is it about getting to high school football games? Is it some favorite sweatshirts or jackets that you can pull out again? What is it that you like most? We'd love to hear from you about fall in Wisconsin and what makes it so nice. You can put questions or comments to the show all the time, of course, on Facebook and YouTube. That would be the Up North News Facebook or YouTube pages and the Civic Media Facebook or YouTube pages, or use that Civic Media app and either send us a text message or use the voice note feature and send along a little something about what's so great about fall in Wisconsin. Coming up on the program later today, Kelda Roys has been a candidate for governor for 1 week. She will join us at 7:35 to talk about why she's running and what she thinks will make her stand out from a growing group of Democrats seeking to be the nominee next year to try to succeed Tony Evers and keep Republicans from taking over the governor's post. You can follow Up North News by getting our daily newsletter. Head over to upnorthnewswi.com, click subscribe up in the top banner. One of the stories today tells you about Wisconsin businesses that are staffed by people living with disabilities. Overall, Wisconsin is coming off back-to-back years of record high employment rates for workers with disabilities. But keep in mind, that's made possible in large part due to the assistance that people get from Medicaid for healthcare, therapy, vocational training, and more. And yet, Donald Trump and Republicans have decided to take a meat cleaver to Medicaid. So while you're reading that story in the newsletter today, also get set to hear just after 7 o'clock from Up North News, Salina Heller. And she'll tell you about a Wisconsin mom talking about her adult son and the assistance that Medicaid provides in order to give him some dignity and independence until people like Donald Trump come along who find him to be disposable. Also, back in the newsletter, we've got a link to my story on the current gubernatorial field as we await decisions by Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul and Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany. And Tiffany hinting that he may make an announcement on Wednesday of this week. A lot to cover here, so we should ask Parker Olson what he thinks of all of it, since he's producing this wonderful shindig down in Madison at the top of State Street, 1 block off the Capitol Square, at the world headquarters of Civic Media. Mr. Parker, how are you?
Doing pretty well, Pat. I'm feeling pretty good. I have worked pretty hard to flush 2 awful losses on the weekend. That's where I'm at.
The Packers and the Badgers, I assume.
Packers and the Badgers. You know, I watched all of the Packer game. Mind you, my uncle is a Browns fan.
Yes.
I have yet to hear a lot from him, which is very good because I don't need to hear a lot more about that game. I don't.
Well, I mean, what can you really say, right? I mean,
yeah,
for folks who missed it, the Packers were up. I mean, it wasn't a rout or anything like that, but with 3 minutes left, the Packers are up on the Cleveland Browns 10-3, and they're driving. I mean, it started at about 6 minutes left in the game. So all you got to do is run out the clock. Emphasis on the word run.
Yeah.
Run out the clock.
Yeah.
There's some dumb penalties in there. And then Jordan Love, I get it was third down, right? So, felt the need to throw. Don't know why. You've been handing it to Josh Jacobs the entire game. Yeah, he throws. He says it's miscommunication with Dontavian Wicks. I'm just saying, why are you throwing on third down like that? And as ugly as it was, the Browns intercept. They score. It's 10-10 now. Still time left, but a field goal attempt with 27 seconds left is blocked. A couple of Browns plays later, they try a 55-yard field goal, and it is good. And they win 13-10. Now you can also blame the offensive line. Jordan Love was sacked 5 times. They've got all kinds of
a couple of backups in there.
All kinds of offensive line injuries. I get that. Both defenses were very good for this game. And let's see, Tony putting on YouTube, Cleveland's strength is its defensive line. The Packers' weakness is its offensive line.
Yeah.
It was just a bad matchup.
Yeah. Here, the thing for me is that the Packers are due for about 2 of these kinds of losses every year. So I'm not raising alarm bells or anything.
No.
It's just really frustrating to see it happen really repeatedly under Matt LaFleur, because frankly, it seems like a coaching thing, because it seems like the entire team was sleepwalking through that entire game.
It was boring.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was boring. We had already planned to go see a movie. So I did not see the very end of it. And
congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much. That's all Sherry's doing. She's like, it is too early in the season to be sitting down for 3 hours straight watching a game, sitting on a bar stool. The Brewers are still playing, and so it's tough to get into full Packer mode yet. It's a nice day out, and so let's go do that. And I was like, yeah, I'm good with that. So we saw this movie called A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey with Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie. Complete rom-com, kind of a fantasy rom-com. We'll talk about it later on, but especially I've got a story about losing something under the seats in a movie theater that finish your breakfast first before I share the story. Trust me.
Oh,
anyway, so I missed the very end, and I'm very happy about that, because I did see the Packers had 6.5 minutes left. I'm just like, good, just run it out. We'll be just fine.
yeah.
And you know as well as I do, we've both said this before. It's one of those games where it's like, well, if they screw up this one, I don't want to be around to see it.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened. So
Yeah. No,
anyway, so the Packers move on. They will be in Dallas, and that'll be a Sunday night football game next week. So you'll be able to hear that Sunday night game, and you'll be able to hear us sound especially sleep deprived tomorrow or next Monday morning next week.
Yep.
When we're doing this.
You thought the Packers were sleepwalking yesterday? Wait till next Monday when we're sleepwalking through this show.
Badgers, they can't even say it was sleepwalking. They were just trounced by Maryland 27-10. The score was 20-0 at halftime, with the student section chanting "Fire Fickle." Wisconsin is now 15 wins and 15 losses in Luke Fickle's coaching tenure. They have lost 7 in a row now against opponents from the Big Four conferences. The student section, by the way, was virtually empty midway through the fourth quarter.
The stadium was empty.
Yeah, and you can't even accuse the fans of being bandwagoners if you're going to play like that. The game was billed before the season started as a chance for a Wisconsin quarterback and Maryland transfer Billy Edwards Jr. to face his former team, but Edwards hadn't played since he sprained his knee in the season opener. And so Danny O'Neal threw an interception and was working behind an offensive line featuring 3 redshirt freshmen. So once again, the offensive line was not your friend. So the Badgers have next weekend off. And then, as we've mentioned before, the October schedule has the Badgers visiting Michigan, ranked 21st in the country, hosting Iowa, hosting number 1 Ohio State, and then traveling to 6th-ranked Oregon. So no need to watch those games. You put them on your favorite civic media station, and you keep some nice football on in the background, because that's what makes fall in Wisconsin great. Tony puts up on YouTube, chopping some wood with a nice breeze off the lake while wearing flannel, sipping a spotted cow while listening to a football game on the radio. Nothing better than that. Amen, Tony.
Yeah.
That's fall in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But at least there's still baseball. Roger puts on Facebook from Stevens Point, I never expected the Reds to sweep the Cubs. The Reds may still be in the wild card when they play the Brewers this coming weekend. Yes, the Brewers will be playing Cincinnati in the final homestand of the season later this week. But first, they had to get through the series with the Cardinals. And I believe the Cardinals took 2 out of 3, I want to say.
Yes. Good.
And yet, even after the Brewers lost 5-1, minutes later, after that Cubs loss, the Brewers became your Central Division champions for the 3rd year in a row. So playoff baseball is set, and we're very close. I don't have the magic number in front of me to clinching that first round bye.
I believe 4. I think they already have a first round bye.
Okay.
It's just that they're
now it's for home field. Yes.
for home field for the entirety. They have to stay ahead of the Phillies to get home field, well, NL and World Series if they were to get there.
So there are still things to play for this week, which I always like. It's like, look, you can't just be dogging it yet. There's still things to play for. And for the Brewers, that includes heading to San Diego to play the Padres Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Coverage begins this evening at 8:05 on Civic Media stations in Richland Center, Oshkosh, Racine, Park Falls, and Hayward. So a little West Coast late night baseball for the Brewers for 3 games, then an off day, and then they're back here for the final homestand against the Cincinnati Reds. Freddie Peralta, by the way, is doing the pitching tonight. So there we go. We've got some things to play for, thankfully.
Yeah, and hopefully Brandon Woodruff.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Why did you?
Yeah,
I'd almost forgotten.
I'm sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
No. I'll be the bearer. I just here it is. Brandon Woodford, Big Woo, is out for 15 days. He was put on the injured list yesterday, putting his availability for the playoffs in jeopardy. Woodruff just returned this season after a shoulder surgery in October of 2023. He says he felt something funny in his tricep during a bullpen session on Saturday. An initial evaluation traced the issue to a lat in his upper back. And the news, of course, comes just 4 days after left-handed pitcher Jose Quintana went on the 15-day injured list with a left calf strain. So the Brewers have pitching injuries heading into the playoffs. In other news, the sun rose in the east today. So,
you know the meme of the dog sitting on a chair,
sitting with the fire all around, saying, "This is fine."
That's just how I feel.
Yeah,
everything's okay.
Mhm.
Fine.
That's exactly where we are. Yes. We will continue to look forward to throughout the course of the morning, even despite the things we say about the Packers, the Badgers, and the Brewers. What's great about being in Wisconsin during the fall, because there's a lot that's cool around here. And I'd love to hear what you like to do as we start to celebrate what will eventually be this first day of fall all across our beautiful state. From the heart of America's Up North, live from Lake Wissota. Thanks for making this the place to spend part of your mornings. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Frustrating. If you're not sure what others are saying in conversations because of loud background noise, why not call Madison Hearing Aid Center? 608-249-4077 is their number. They offer fast and flexible appointments. Talk to Jim or Sarah. They're helping people change their lives with better hearing. Get a free hearing test online at MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. That's MadisonHearingAidCenter.com. 4706 Cottage Grove Road in Madison. Tell them John and Gordy sent you.
Craft cocktails, live events, a playground for the kids, and yes, self-serve instant ramen bar and drag bingo. It's all at Downdrin's Distilling in Cottage Grove. It's not your average tasting room. Pet-friendly, family-friendly, flavor-packed. Visit downdrins.com or stop by today.
Does Trump's big bill end taxes on tips and overtime? No. President Donald Trump's new law exempts certain tip and overtime income from federal tax, but the deductions expire in 2028 and come with limits. Workers earning under $150,000 can deduct up to $25,000 in tips and $12,500 in overtime. Social Security, Medicare, and state taxes still apply. The Tax Policy Center says 2% of households will benefit from the tip provision, saving $1,800. The White House estimates $1,400 in average annual savings from the overtime deduction. I'm Trisha Young for Wisconsin Watch. Fact Briefs are bite-sized fact checks of trending claims produced by Wisconsin Watch and GigaFact. Read more at wisconsinwatch.org.
Found an injured, sick, or orphaned wild animal? Dane County Humane Society's Wildlife Center can help. Call 608-287-3235 or visit giveshelter.org/wildlife for what to do next.
If you're a fan of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow on the radio, well, let me suggest Sunday Mornings with Pat Kreitlow in your newsletter email box. It's a newsletter we put together with Wisconsin and national political stories that comes out early every Sunday morning. It also includes our question of the week. And this week, the question is, who's to blame if there's another government shutdown? Now, there hasn't been one for a while. They keep kicking the can down the road with these things called continuing resolutions. But it's really starting to look like the middle of next week, there may be a government shutdown for reasons that are explained in the newsletter. So who's to blame? Is it Republicans because they stubbornly don't want to negotiate with Democrats, even though they need Democratic votes to pass a budget? Is it Democrats who should let the Republicans have their way because Republicans are in the majority and they shouldn't be an obstacle? Is it Donald Trump because Mr. Art of the Deal should be able to forge some kind of a deal here? What do you think? The people that get to answer that first and see the question first sign up for our question of the week. Sign up at UpNorthNewsWI.com and hit subscribe to get our newsletters. You know who else has newsletters? Civic Media, including a new flagship daily newsletter, Civic Media Today. Get signed up for that. Head over to Substack.com. The address for the newsletter is civicmediatoday.substack.com. Again, civicmediatoday.substack.com. Tomorrow on the program, Hans Breitenmoser will be along, Cam Stevenson from Washington, D.C., Dan Schaefer from the recombobulation area. Dr. Kristen Lyerly will be coming up next. Salina Heller not far after that, adding some levity to the program. But before we get to the levity, well, a little bit of seriousness in the news, at least from the standpoint of a political rally that was held yesterday in Phoenix. It was a 5-hour rally. Well, I mean, it was billed as a memorial to Charlie Kirk, the right-wing agitator. It was held inside an NFL football stadium, and it featured pretty much every prominent MAGA leader in the country was there. Never have I been so connected to Donald Trump's 3 favorite words: build that wall. I mean, give away Phoenix, keep everybody there, heal the rest of the country. But it didn't work that way. And the country will not heal based on anything that was said in Phoenix yesterday. Yes, Kirk was eulogized as someone who loved his family and claimed to love his country. And yes, Charlie Kirk's widow did say she forgave her husband's killer. She said, quote, "The answer to hate is not hate." That is not the message that people are taking away from the Hollywood level production that went on, especially when the president of the United States took to the stage and gave a rambling 45-minute diatribe that contained this nugget: I hate my opponents and I don't want what's best for them. Sorry, Erica. It's okay. Because here's the thing. If Trump were the one who had been assassinated and Charlie Kirk were speaking, That quote would not be different by a single word, knowing those two men as much as we do. Now, the president bounced around between honoring Kirk and promoting his own political agenda. He said, for example, an announcement was coming on Monday about autism, which, trust me, will not be rooted in medical science. He talked about sending troops to Chicago, yes, at a memorial service. He talked about the tariffs he'd slapped on foreign countries, the reasons why prices are higher than they were last year when he was promising to lower prices on day one. Remember that? And as he kept getting more political, people were leaving the arena by the hundreds. He told all of the usual lies. Anyone who opposes him must be a, quote, paid agitator. He said he was sicking the Department of Justice on a so-called, quote, network of radical left maniacs who fund, organize, fuel, and perpetuate political violence, end quote. Keep in mind, he dismantled the part of the Department of Justice that was going after the real cause of political violence in this country, of course, coming from the far right. After all, how many of the January 6th insurrectionists are now hiding behind those masks in those deportation raids? There was a great effort by Trump and the others to turn Charlie Kirk into some kind of a martyr, maybe even a saint. Make no mistake, he was neither. And frankly, the window has closed on any chance that Charlie Kirk will be remembered fondly. Here's why. If his murder had come without the vitriol from Donald Trump and the promises of vengeance from people like Derek Van Orden, then maybe in a quieter environment, there would have been time for people who didn't know Charlie Kirk to get some kind of whitewashed version of the things he said and the things he stood for. But the bloodthirsty rhetoric and the shrieking bombast coming from Trump and Vance and Van Orden and some of the speakers in Phoenix only ensured that more Americans are going to make sure that Charlie Kirk's legacy does not get the undeserved opportunity to be romanticized. We've already illustrated the parallels between Derek Van Orden and another Wisconsin demagogue, Joseph McCarthy. In a similar fashion, what happened in Phoenix on Sunday was reminiscent of the rallies that used to be held by Father Charles Coughlin against the policies of President Franklin Roosevelt. Charles Coughlin was the Rush Limbaugh of his time, with a national radio audience in the tens of millions. He used the term social justice, but his positions are more in line with what was being seen in the rise of fascism around the world. Eventually, the man whose angry views were for a time embraced in big audiences on the radio and at rallies was seen for what he was and is now mostly forgotten. That will be Charlie Kirk. Those of us who've known of his words and his work for years before most Americans, we will help keep the history books on the straight and narrow. And the rally in Phoenix may as well have been held behind a wall. We'll have Dr. Kristen Lyerly coming up and today's history lesson, all in just a moment. First, the Midwest Farm Report here across the Civic Media Radio Network. I'm Pat Kreitlow. You're up north.
92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Maggie Dawn Show, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Soon the roads are going to be filled with trucks, tractors, and various other agricultural machinery as harvest moves into full swing. But that may also create some new obstacles on the roads. I'm Stephanie Hoff for the Midwest Farm Report, and here with tips on how to safely maneuver around farm equipment is Lieutenant Bill Berger with the Wisconsin State Patrol.
When you're coming on some of these town and county highways, you know, you run into more hills and things like that where visibility might not be as good as on a state or federal highway. just be aware of that potential, that blind hill. There might be something on the other side of it to be preparing for before you even see it or know it's there. Just be conscious of those type of things. Something else to be concerned with is just be looking for the slow moving vehicle signs, the SMVs.
Lieutenant Bill Berger, along with us from the Wisconsin State Patrol. He also reminds us that the stopping time for large farm equipment is much longer than typical vehicles due to their weight. So be mindful of that. Find the full conversation with Lieutenant Berger at Midwest Farm Report.
There's Dr. Larley now.
Morning.
How are you?
I am all right. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How was your trip back?
So good.
Oh, good. It
Yeah.
looked like you had such a lovely time.
Oh my gosh. I'm still recovering from this knee surgery, so I
I've
wasn't
heard.
like, yeah. So I wasn't like my best self. I wasn't able to do all the things I usually do, but
You did a lot.
I did a lot. And my colleagues are amazing, and it was just an incredible bunch of days.
That's great. Yeah, I loved the little talk about like, some people's shop talk is this, ours are episiotomies, things like that.
You're going to be seeing more of me and Laura Hanks together because Laura actually stepped in on Jane's show when we used to do at your cervix,
Mm-hmm.
public cervix announcement. That's what it
Yes.
was. Laura stepped in when I had to step away. So she and I, we do some fun together.
Good. Very
Yeah.
nice. Okay. Oh, let's see. All right, so we got that one first. Yes, and Tony says as well, huge news. So congratulations.
Thanks,
You're that much closer to becoming Prime Minister of Canada and Peru
or something.
or something. I mean, two places Sherry would travel back and forth to, Saskatchewan and Peru. I mean, you guys could have winter and summer homes. So
Let's not forget Manitoba. They're on the list.
I know. Just saying, we got friends in Saskatchewan, just bouncing back and forth. That would be fun.
That's right. That's right.
Let's see. And then, so when did you fly? When did you travel back?
I drove.
Oh, when did you drive?
Yesterday I got back at like 9:30. I drove
Okay.
because I didn't know if I was going to be able to bend my knee enough to be able to sit in a plane for any
Sure.
period of time because it's only been 3 weeks. But
Yeah.
actually I can bend my knee really well. I'm really, really, really lucky.
Alicia. Speaking of episiotomies, well, yeah.
Oh, are we talking about episiotomies this morning? We don't really do
No.
them
No,
all
we're
that
not.
often
No.
anymore.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about vaccines. That's going to be news later today.
That we are going to talk about. So
What about vulvar cancer?
we can. It's half your show. We can go wherever you need to go.
No, that's too depressing.
That is half your show.
No, vulvar
I'm
cancer.
not going to host this with you.
Abnormal uterine bleeding?
I got my normal show on the weekends. So
Oh, right.
all right. What do I got? 45 seconds here.
$20 seconds.
Today's history lesson begins with a factual error, courtesy of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Today is not. That was last
yesterday.
night. Well, we're off the 21st night of September, and so we just thought we'd throw that out there from this Earth, Wind, and Fire song from 1978. Why did they pick the 21st night of September? They said no reason. The line just sounded good. Yeah. Yep. Just
I
for
was
fun and
definitely
giggles.
singing that song all day yesterday because it makes
I'm-
people
Oh, yeah.
happy.
I am sure you were. Dr. Kristen Lyerly is here now.
Good vibe.
because if there's somebody that's liable to sing in a car for a long drive, it's her. Or
I
Salina
wasn't in the
Heller,
car.
who is here as well now. So who also makes her share of long drives. So
Yeah, I do.
good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you all here. It's funny. I could have gone with that based on the calendar. I could have just as easily gone with we're doing the TV debuts, and if ever there were a theme song that would have worked, it would have been this one from a show that debuted on this day in 1994. Anybody remember the group? Kristen clapping just on cue. That'd be the Rembrandts, who I guess had already broken up at that point, and then realized they could make more money if they got back together. Now that one of their songs has been picked up by NBC for this new TV show that debuted 31 years ago today. Good morning, Whiskers. Nice to see you taking up the entire camera again.
Yes. He just got a bath last night. He's really soft and smells really good.
Let's see, TV debuts. Let me go in reverse order here. 1999 on this day, The West Wing debuted on NBC. 1987, Full House debuted on ABC.
That's that old?
1987, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Could we reboot The West Wing?
Could we
Wouldn't that be
reboot
kinda
The West
nice?
Wing? It has been kind of rebooted if your algorithm is set up in such a way, because that's my TikTok is like it's West Wing clips all the time, and it's getting to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I watched those ones. I mean, I definitely watched seasons 1 through 4, but I may have missed some of the later ones here.
I'd love to see your algorithm, Pat.
Yep.
It's all Get Ready With Me and YouTube, West Wing.
Get ready.
Let's see. 1982 marked the NBC premiere of Family Ties with Michael J. Fox. Now we're really going back. And I'll give you one more. Charlie's Angels debuted on ABC this day in 1976.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you watch the movie reboots with like Drew Barrymore and Lucy
Cameron
Liu
Diaz?
and Cameron Diaz?
No.
Did not? Okay.
No.
I really liked the first. I did. The first one was very campy. I liked it. Then it kind of went off the deep end after that.
I remember arguing with my friends in grade school about which angel I was.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
Because
guessing your hair
it
was
was like
darker.
it was like a boy band thing, like you identified with one of them. So it
Yeah.
was like, well, am I more Brie, like more smart and practical, or more like, like Farrah Fawcett's character who had the cool car and the hair? These were complicated issues in elementary
These
school.
are important questions in life.
Your
We need to-
questions were like, which one are you? And ours were more in the, Ginger versus Marianne, Betty versus Veronica, Monica, okay. Anyway. Let's see. Does anybody have a birthday that they would want to wish a happy birthday to coming up, or just had one?
My son's girlfriend's birthday was yesterday, which is part of the reason that I was singing that song all day long, because I kept calling her and bugging her.
Oh,
Happy birthday,
you ready?
Rachel.
You ready?
All right, well, here you go.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
What's the girlfriend's name?
Rachel.
Dear Rachel. Okay. The reason that's there is that it was on this day 10 years ago in 2015 that the Happy Birthday song's copyright was ruled no longer valid, putting the song into the public domain. And I remember that well. For the first decades of our radio career, you could not just play the Happy Birthday song willy-nilly because it was licensed like anything else.
Oh,
Now
I've got another
fair
one.
game.
Can I shout
Yes.
out another birthday?
Sure.
Mrs. Marnie Sanderfoot, who teaches special ed at Kaukauna High School on September 20th. It was her birthday.
My sister's was. Mine is this week. How about that?
Wait, yours is this week? We're
There we go.
burying the lead here. Okay. And so when?
Saturday.
Okay. All right. Look at that. She's
Can't make a live appearance for it. Dang it.
I know.
No, I can't.
We don't know your age. We're not going to ask. I just know it's not as old as
Never
Tony
ask.
Basil because today is her birthday and she's 82 years old today.
What?
Yeah.
That's impossible. She's always in high school.
She will forever be in high school.
This does
because
not
of-
sound like an 82-year-old.
No, does not. But
I wonder what she sounds like.
she'd
now,
been
right?
performing a long time, doing a lot of choreography, mostly things like that. I remember seeing a story about her a couple of years back. Still very active. Yeah.
Whoa.
Let's see. David Coverdale is 74 years old today. He fronted Deep Purple from 1973 to 1976, and then formed his own band, Whitesnake. Again, David Coverdale is 74 today.
Does this make you want to like dance on the hood of somebody's car?
Again, we're coming back to characters that you know are associated with. Perhaps so. Happy birthday to Debbie Boone. She is 69 years old today and had the hit of 1977.
Nice.
So many nights I'd sit by.
We're not holding this all the way through You Light Up My Life, but that's the song if you're not familiar with it.
If there was an audio definition of the word schmaltz, that
Schmaltz,
would be it.
That would be it, yes. And yet it was number one for like half the year of 1977. And that if anybody goes, how is it that disco was able to make inroads? Well, that's what we were living with, was the mid-decade era of soft rock. And we were ready for anything after that. So disco, come on in through the door. By the way, Debbie Boone's dad, Pat Boone, who we've mentioned frequently on this segment, still with us at age 91.
Put out a hard rock album to counter all the soft rock.
Well, yeah, hard rock, whatever. Andrea Bocelli, the Italian singer-songwriter, is 67. Joan Jett was born the same day. She is 67 years old today. You think you were more of a Joan Jett person or a Tony Basil person? You know, with the poppy, preppy cheerleader stuff, or more Joan Jett?
I think I was probably more Tony Basil, but I wanted to be more Joan Jett.
Joan Jett had joined the music scene as a guitarist for an all-girl punk band called the Runaways, and later would form Joan Jett and the Blackhawks. Their debut, or Black Hearts, I'm sorry. Their debut album was turned down by the first 23 record labels they approached, even though it included this song, which would become a #2 hit.
She was like 14 or 15 when she joined the Runaways. I mean, they were children.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just babies. Let's see. On this day in 1975, Sarah Jane Moore tried to assassinate President Gerald Ford. And this was only 17 days after Lynette Squeaky Fromm also fired a gun at Gerald Ford. Both missed. Moore was an accountant, Sarah Jane Moore, and said she wanted to spark a violent revolution to bring change to America. She was given a life sentence. She was released from prison at the end of 2007 after serving 32 years. She is still around at age 95, Sarah Jane Moore, whose claim to fame happened 50 years ago today. On this day in 2003, during the auditions for the 3rd season of American Idol, we got to meet somebody named William Hung.
Oh, boy.
She bangs, oh baby, when she moves. I go crazy cause she looks like a fly, but she stings like a bee, like every girl in history.
Anyway, a very lively but stupefyingly bad rendition of the Ricky Martin hit. And sometimes you hear something and you go, I think the producers just killed their own show with that. And I was wrong. I was totally wrong. People just, they couldn't get enough.
Made you smile.
It did. Yeah. So there you go. Let's see, on a more serious political note here, it was on this day 6 years ago that a U.S. intelligence officer made an official complaint about a call made by then President Donald Trump to the Ukrainian president. Trump acknowledged on this day that he did talk about withholding American military aid in an extortion bid to get Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate Joe Biden's son, Hunter. Why did the intelligence officer report this call? Because it was wrong. It was criminal activity, and Congress impeached him for it, but enough Senate Republicans got him off the hook because they chose to condone criminal extortion against a nation under attack. In a somewhat related note, on this day in 1970, President Richard Nixon requested 1,000 new FBI agents to surveil college campuses. All right, let's get to the national day calendar today. Of course, we got the fall equinox. We mentioned that coming up later this afternoon. Today is National Ice Cream Cone Day.
Yes.
So
That's
let's go
it.
around the horn here. Ice cream cones, you get one flavor. What are you getting, Salina?
Ooh, probably I would like a mint Oreo.
Mint Oreo. Parker?
Or do we get toppings?
No, it's an ice cream cone. What's going in the cone?
Well, all right, fine. We'll just do vanilla.
Oh,
really?
Parker gave you the most Parker answer yet. All right.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm not excited.
I have to wonder at what point am I just leaning into it?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Kristen?
Oh, that's hard. You know, it's always, I'm that person who stands in front of the counter and just can't
Yes,
make a decision, but I do love
I'm getting
a
that
good
impression
Oreo.
now. Yes. So what are
Let's
we
talk
going
about
with?
the cone. I mean, is it a cake cone? Is it a waffle cone?
Sugar
You know,
cone.
I got
Does it
till
have
9
chocolate
o'clock
on
if
the
you want to
inside?
wait to answer this thing. I mean,
Oh, I do
Wait,
love like a
listen,
chocolate
wow.
peanut butter. That's a good one.
mhm.
Yeah, it's a mood thing.
Tony, I'm surprised Parker didn't put lettuce in his cone.
Ew.
Maybe the bottom.
Oh,
Plain.
Tony.
The correct answer, of course, is Haagen-Dazs Belgian chocolate.
Oh.
You'll thank me later.
Oh,
Today
okay.
is Elephant Appreciation Day and also World Rhinoceros Day. Why
Oh.
does the elephant and the rhino have to share a day? It's a big calendar. I don't know who decides these things. It's apparently National Hobbit Day because both
Oh.
Bilbo
Nice.
and Frodo Baggins have birthdays today.
Do we get 2 breakfasts?
Could be. Yeah. It is still Build a Better Breakfast
Well,
Month.
second
You know how to build a better breakfast? Have 2 of them.
Okay.
Exactly. Today is Eye Health Week, and it's also Glucose Awareness Week, and it's Rosh Hashanah for the Jewish New Year. So all of that on there. Eye health or glucose awareness. Kristen, you have any words of wisdom from a doctor standpoint on those?
Yeah, a lot of people do not have healthy glucose levels and don't know it because you can't feel it, which is why it's really important to do your routine preventive care as you get older and have those levels checked. If your glucose is high, we can treat it and we can ward off heart disease and lots of other ugliness down the road. So, routine preventive care, my friends. Same thing
Very-
for eye disease.
Very nice. And Tony puts on YouTube, my kids are hobbits. They always eat first and second breakfast. So there you go. It fits. And just a little bit, Salina Heller is going to have a story for us about a Wisconsin mom talking about her adult son and what these upcoming drastic cuts to Medicaid would do to his dignity and independence. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Salina,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to stick around all the way through 7:30 or 7:20? Because then that determines if we do a clip in this one and then the next one, or if we wait till the next one and then the 7:20. Your
I can
choice.
stick around.
Okay. Because if we stick around, then Kristen, we're going to be doing highlights from St. Louis and ACOG and things like that. So.
I am so easy.
And Parker's entertainment story of the day is coming up.
I can talk about disability stuff too. And actually, Salina, you know who would be cool to interview? And I don't know if it would be good video or just quotes, but Jordan Anderson is an incredible
yes.
disability.
Yes.
Advocate from the Marshfield area. I'm blanking on the name of his actual Auburndale.
Yes.
And I can connect you with him. And also Rob from Tigerton. Rob from Tigerton is finding his voice and he has a lot to say. And, you know, he's a favorite of the show. So it would be, I'm sure he would love to talk with you.
Okay, thank you. Chatting those down.
I think this is a huge untapped, it's not, I mean, slightly tapped, just beginning to be tapped issue that people just do not really understand the disability community and how much they do and how they need a little boost. And we're taking that boost away from them, which the consequences are horrific for all of us.
Well, and in this particular case, the son has autism, and how many kids do you know that who have autism? So,
Yeah.
We can talk about Taylor Swift. There's a new movie coming. That I had to get tickets for.
Okay, well, there you go. It's Taylor Swift versus whatever Parker is pitching. There you go, Parker. You better give us your best
Taylor
one.
wins. No, Taylor objectively wins.
I don't know. Not everybody's a Swiftie. Some of them are awful people. I mean, the rest, everybody else is a Swiftie. Okay, let's see. We got 1 minute left here. Yes,
Laura Hanks and I also did a little video about when we were in St. Louis about when Taylor and if Taylor and Travis have a baby and they need an OBGYN doctor, we offered our services since we were right there in St. Louis. So just like a 4-hour drive away.
Yeah, it's a little high.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Yeah, Dr. Hanks is a big Swiftie.
No. Okay. All right. 30 seconds. Again, the Brewers leaving St. Louis and on their way to San Diego for a 3-game series. So you've got some later evening baseball starting tonight, 8:05 on several civic media stations. Again, they're in San Diego today, tomorrow, and Wednesday afternoon, an off day Thursday, and then back home to play the Cincinnati Reds this next weekend in the final homestand of the regular series. Parker Olson here, Dr. Kristen Lyerly, Salina Heller as well on this Monday morning. And the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show can be heard on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday at 3 on WISS in Oshkosh and Appleton. That's 98.3 and 96.5. And Sunday mornings at 9 on WGBW in the Green Bay area. That's 97.9 and 1590 AM. What do we need to know about the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show? Kristen Lyerly.
I should mention you can find all the old archived episodes on civicmedia.us and wherever you get your podcasts. This week, we have an incredible show coming up. Remember when the Catholic school in Minnesota was one of the victims of a school shooting episode? Well, there are hometown ties. One of our friends here in De Pere, her sister, her daughter goes to school there, and they have lived through this terrible tragedy. And so we're taping our episode tonight, and that is going to air this weekend, and it is going to be something else.
Okay. So again, Kristen Lyerly Show. Again, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, be a subscriber there. And Kristen, one thing in the news, and then we'll get some of your own personal professional news. But Alicia sums this up well, and I was going to ask you about this anyway. Alicia putting on YouTube. I'm really worried about this quote unquote big autism announcement as a mom to an autistic person. And this is, I think what we're all expecting is that President Trump, not a doctor, and Robert Kennedy Jr., not a doctor, are going to say something about autism and Tylenol and pregnancy that is going to be not supported by evidence. That's where a lot of people are chatting. Kristen, is that where you think this might be going today?
Hey, I have no idea where it's going, but the one thing I do know for sure is, as you said, Pat, neither of these folks are physicians. The medical community, the scientific community has been working on answering this question for years and years, and we don't have an answer yet because it's likely multifactorial. There are likely many reasons that people develop autism. So there isn't one thing, but I can tell you that it is not Tylenol. We do not have a causal relationship that says that Tylenol causes autism. There are some studies that show an association, but an association does not mean that it causes this. And some studies show that there's no association. So if it does come out to show that the Tylenol is the culprit, that is certainly not the case. And we need to continue to fund scientific research so that we can come up with some real answers, not just something flashy that politicians want to show us that will scare us and shame families with autism that are frankly just looking for an answer. They're just searching for answers because they're living with this every single day and they deserve better.
So again, we'll follow the announcement, and I'm sure we'll have a reaction later today and throughout the course of the week, especially, I would say throughout the week if it's especially quacky, shall we say. But we'll see what develops. And tell the folks your news. You're in St. Louis for the American College of Obstetricians Gynecologists, and you've got yet another job title, all of which get almost no remuneration, but it's nice of you to take on these duties. What's your newest?
Oh, it's so good. This has been a long time coming. Yesterday, I accepted the position of chair for one of the districts of the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. That means that I join the executive board and I get to help set the course, the vision for this incredible organization as we move forward. This is the same organization that turned down federal funding because we didn't believe that we could comply with Donald Trump's executive orders that limited our ability to take care of our patients. So it's a visionary organization. We take care and families, and we are so proud to continue to do this work on their behalf.
Yeah, and as a district chair, as a member of the National ACOG Executive Board, I mean, they gave you quite the territory. It's the Midwest, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Peru. Did I see that correctly?
Yeah, I love it though. I was just talking to my Peruvian colleagues yesterday, and it's so cool to talk with our Manitoban folks and hear what's happening up in Manitoba. What are the parallels and what's happening in Peru? And having been there recently, just to see how their health system works and make comparisons and learn from each other. We have so much to learn from each other, cross borders in the states, cross borders in countries. So this is just another opportunity for us to do better by our patients, regardless of where we live.
All right. Normally, this is the time for Parker's pitch, where he pitches us on what is the big entertainment story of the day. But we'll start. We'll give Salina a head start. Salina, what do you think is the big entertainment story of the day?
Well, over the weekend, Taylor Swift announced that she was having, I have to read this because I'm not a Swiftie, but I had to get tickets for this because
Okay.
there's a small person in my house that is. So Taylor Swift will be returning to the big screen in October. She'll be seen in thousands of theaters, not with a traditional feature film, but with an 89-minute release party event. Taylor Swift, the official release party of a showgirl. So that is coming up October 3rd, and over the weekend, Mycon Cinemas here in town, and they have two theaters, Chippewa Falls and Eau Claire, that were having this movie. And they said, we're going to release the tickets or have tickets starting to be sold at 6 p.m., whatever day. And they had 10,000 people, they said, on their website, and you couldn't get tickets. So
Cheap. I don't know, Parker. What do you got?
I was just going to say that Bad Bunny and Amy Poehler and Sabrina Carpenter are the first three SNL hosts. I think I lose. I think that wins.
You said Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, and who?
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler. I love Amy Poehler. She's
I love Amy Poehler. She's like a Kristen clone. The two of them could definitely co-anchor Weekend Update together.
We both have that Leslie Knope vibe.
Yes, exactly. Hey, Salina is going to be back in just a bit to talk to us about Medicaid cuts and the impact on one gentleman, his dignity and his independence as explained by his mom. We'll have that story, more with Kristen Lyerly, and then we have State Senator Kelda Roys joining us at 7:35 to talk about the run for governor. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. I don't know. That was a good story, Parker. But what are you going to do? You got a good one, and then Taylor Swift comes up. So.
Yep. Yeah. I had to go to the theater because you couldn't get on the website. So
is Kelda live or is she taped?
Kelda's live at 7:35.
Can I stay on?
Of course you can. Yes. Hang around. Okay, so we're gonna do the 2 tapes, Salina, and then you want to hang around and do the third one at 7:20?
Sure thing.
Okay, all right. Let's see. I think that's all we need to get started here. So I'll see you all in a bit.
Okay, I'm gonna go get some ice for my knee. I'll be back.
Today, the president's expected to make an announcement on autism, and the Washington Post is reporting the administration will link Tylenol use in pregnancy to autism. Tylenol's manufacturer says science shows the drug is safe. Tens of thousands celebrated the life and work of Charlie Kirk at a memorial for the conservative activist in Arizona. And the UK and Australia said they'll recognize a Palestinian state, angering Israel as the UN General Assembly begins. This is ABC News.
Farm news that impacts you and your community from the Midwest Farm Report throughout your day on 92.7 WMDX.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. A bill that would help first responders treat opioid overdoses is now on President Donald Trump's desk. Senator Tammy Baldwin authored the Safe Response Act. It gives $57 million per year until 2030 to help first responders save lives when people are suffering from fentanyl overdoses. Baldwin has been vocal about addiction struggles in her own family, and this bill was crafted with bipartisan input. It passed the Senate unanimously, and now it's waiting for the president's signature. And a UW-Madison professor testified to Congress about nuclear fusion. The House Science Committee's Energy Subcommittee held a hearing last week about the future of fusion, and one of 4 witnesses was Stephanie Deem, who's conducting experiments at UW-Madison to make fusion power easier and less expensive.
Fusion is a dense, virtually limitless source of power derived from hydrogen that could radically transform humanity. Fusion, the process that powers the sun, occurs when light elements are forced together and combined under extreme conditions, releasing vast amounts of energy. On Earth, we use magnetic bottles or powerful lasers to create these fusion conditions. Fusion gives us hope.
Lawmakers on the subcommittee say it could be the future of energy in America. And a reminder to drive safely around school buses. It's Operation Safe Stop Week. The Wisconsin State Patrol is teaming up with the Wisconsin School Bus Association in an effort to encourage safe driving near buses. The State School Bus Association worked with its members to identify bus stops where people illegally pass. Now, law enforcement will be adding extra patrols in those spots this week. And now a ticket for illegally passing a school bus will cost you a whole lot more. The penalty increased in 2024, so a citation will now cost $676.50 and 4 demerit points on your license. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
Some good news and bad news. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports Baseball. The good news is, for a 3rd year in a row, the Brewers headed into the playoffs as divisional champs. Bad news is it'll likely be without starting pitcher Brandon Woodruff, who suffered a lat strain in his upper back.
Obviously, it sucks. This is something that is a side effect of the surgery I had, and it's kind of terrible timing in that sense for, the team. The biggest goal for me was to finish the year healthy.
The Crew in San Diego tonight against the Padres. College football, the Badgers now 2-1 after losing to Maryland 27-10 over the weekend. Wisconsin has their bye week, followed by a trip to Ann Arbor to face number 19th ranked Michigan. NFL, the Packers stunned, losing 13-10 to the Browns in Cleveland on a last-second field goal.
It's extremely disappointing to be in a position to win the game and to have the script totally flip on you. It's tough to deal with.
As head coach Matt LaFleur with Sports on Mike Clemens.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Todd Allball Show, weekday afternoons from 2 to 4.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Some patchy fog possible early, otherwise a mix of clouds and sun. An isolated shower or storm possible in the afternoon, with highs in the mid to upper 70s. A better chance for showers and thunderstorms tonight, a mild night with lows in the lower 60s. Currently, it's 59.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs. And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Frank Herman's. When we moved here, I called the Y because my daughter was like, 7 years old. I said, hey, I'm calling about your beginner's gymnastics class. I'm 40 years old. I've never had a gymnastics class. So do you think I should start there? Frank, I get nothing. On the other end, it's just silence. Even after she knew I was kidding.
You should tape that.
Come on. And I did take the class. I did really well.
Back in 25 seconds.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by UpNorthNews. Now, from our Lake Minnesota studio, here is the founding editor of UpNorthNews, Pat Kreitlow.
Hey, good morning. It is 7:06. Nice to have you back here up north on this Monday morning, September 22nd. Parker Olson is producing things down in Madison Studio A2. And we are joined by Dr. Kristen Lyerly, by Salina Heller, by Brittany Merlot, Civic Media meteorologist, to talk about weather on the day as well. And we have State Senator Kelda Roys joining us 30 minutes from now to talk about her run for governor. And if you missed it earlier, we'll tell you how the Brewers have done on their way to getting that pesky magic number out of the way, as Kristen highlights her Brewers jersey for your Central Division champions for the third year in a row. But now it is time. Yep, it's we get to unveil it right here at 7:07 on a Monday morning. Time for the day's first round of the Go for the Green and Gold Text to Win contest. Yes, green and gold, as in cash and jewelry. Here's how to play. The texting is done through the Civic Media app. You're going to look up a station, and you're going to hit the text button that's in there. And for the 7 a.m. hour, you have to text us this hour's keyword before 8 a.m. There will be 7, count them, 7 chances to enter throughout the day with different keywords each time. Then, of all the day's entries in this multi-state, multi-station game, one lucky winner each day will get $200 cash and a gold-plated chain. Then, one really lucky winner for the whole 2-week contest will win this grand prize: 2 club-level indoor seats to see Green Bay versus Minnesota play some football. It's a Green Bay home game on November 23rd at noon, plus a gas card to get you to the game. Total value of this grand prize package is more than $1,500. Now, the fine print, because it's the first time we're doing this. Each entry will get a return message giving you a way to earn another entry linked to a specific activity, such as signing up for a newsletter. Each activity can only be done once. Winners will be contacted by Civic Media within 5 business days, first by text. Full contest rules at the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us/contest-terms. All right, you ready? Here's this hour's keyword to text us before 8 a.m. The keyword is new, N-E-W. New. Text that before 8 a.m. to be part of the Go for the Green and Gold contest. Your next chance to enter will be during the 9 a.m. hour of Matt and Air on air. 7:09 now as we head over to meteorologist Brittany Merlot. It was thunderstormy, keeping some of us from getting a full night's sleep across Wisconsin, but we're now, because it's the first day of fall, I get to use this line. Well, Brittany, it ain't snow yet.
Oh, that's true.
Okay,
It's pre-snow when the leaves
little
fall.
victories, right? Yeah. So happy fall almost.
Happy fall, y'all. One of my favorite seasons. Unfortunately, though, we're starting it off a little dark, a little dreary, very foggy in places. Dense fog advisory until 10 a.m. to almost noon in some spots where this thick stuff is going to be hanging around. It's off of Lake Superior right now, also off of Lake Michigan, moving its way a little bit inland there into the Fox Valley. So hard to see. Drive safe this morning. Temperatures are in the mid 50s north to mid 60s south. And highs today will hit the mid 60s north and probably scrape about 80 degrees into areas towards Madison and down south towards the state line. So we've got a blob of rain moving across the state. It's covering Rhinelander, Wausau, into Stevens Point, over to La Crosse, and it's starting to get strong into Toma, where Matson and Reedsburg, you're now in a severe thunderstorm warning, where you could see winds up to 50 to 60 miles per hour and maybe some hail too. So most of these are not expected to be severe, but there is that chance as this front is just stalled over the states. It's draped from La Crosse all the way pretty much to Sheboygan right now. So a lot of the rain today is going to stay north in the morning, but then this afternoon, after that line moves off to the east, a little tail is going to form in central parts of the state, and that is going to sweep south as we go through this afternoon and evening. So the rain will hit Madison and Milwaukee area later tonight, continuing through the overnight. You could still see some lingering south in the state tomorrow morning before we start to dry out by the afternoon. But up north, you're going to be dry all day tomorrow, and temperatures stay comfortable in those low to mid 70s for the rest of the week, and it looks rather dry too. So after this system passes, it looks brighter ahead. Lots of fall colors popping too.
I was going to say, I hope so, because this system has been especially annoying sitting here as it has the whole weekend. But what it hasn't done is it hasn't like been one of those systems where it blows all the leaves off the trees before you even get a chance for them to change colors and enjoy it.
Right.
So
That's usually the case here for us. So thankfully it did not.
It often is. So we've still got some time to enjoy this first day of fall. And we've been asking people to share with us, what do they love most about fall in Wisconsin? What is it that they love to do? So again, you can text that through the Civic Media app, or you can put comments on our Facebook and YouTube pages as well. Brittany, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, remember, sign up for all kinds of newsletters here. The Up North News Daily newsletter. There's also my Sunday morning one with a question of the week, where I say, if there is a government shutdown next week, as is quite possible, whose fault will it be? And Civic Media has a new daily newsletter as well, Civic Media Today. Head over to substack.com, civicmediatoday.substack.com to learn more. Oh, I let Brittany go before saying good morning from Tigerton from Rob. Cloudy, light rain, 58 degrees over the weekend. Tigerton had 2 inches of rain and some really loud thunderstorms. The first thunderstorms since August 16th, when the old Crossroads bar in Tigerton burned down. He said yesterday he watched the NFL Today 50th anniversary show, which included original host Brent Musburger and the current NFL Today cast dressed up in the fashions of 1975. Any of you watch that at all?
No.
I saw. Did you see it, Parker?
I saw clips of it afterwards, and I was really upset that I didn't watch it.
I did not know that it was coming. It's, the old sets, the old graphics, and yeah, they had like, they pasted on like the cheesy 70s mustaches and things that they wore.
JJ Watt killed it. Him and Ian Eagle looked awesome.
Except, yeah, I mean, he was cracking himself up with how 70s he looked.
But
It was pretty fun. Let's see what else. And of course, Rob says happy fall, y'all, from him as well. And Alicia says it's raining here in Shawano. So we've just got that kind of a day out there today. Again, Kelda Roys is coming up in the next half hour here. I was also going to say, in our Up North News daily newsletter, there's an article in there today about Wisconsin businesses that employ the disabled and make them a good chunk of the workforce. And Salina, that kind of independence is especially, well, it's wonderful compared to generations back when people used to just be, institutionalized or forgotten. And now there's this feeling that, we're about to see a new generation of, Donald Trump's disposable people, because I mean, to him, the people that count the most are the ones who are well off. And he's under the mistaken belief that they are well off because they're somehow better, somehow more essential. They're the ones who deserve help, quote unquote, like tax breaks. And look, for the rest of the political class, they think if you're not doing well, that's on you. Maybe you can live off the benevolence of others, but not through anything done collectively through the government, like Medicaid helping people with disabilities. So Salina's got a report that you can see on her social media that helps put a face on these people that so many people in politics now consider to be disposable. And in this case, we're talking about a young man named Josha Kreitz-Kumal. and his mother, Rachel Kreitz. And that's the mom that you talked to, all about what the good services are that these programs through Medicaid do.
Yes, we talked for a very long time. She was so passionate. She just she pulled off over the pulled to the side of the road, and she was in her car, and we chatted for a long time. She was on her way back from something. So she says her son Joshua could be the face of Medicaid, because by the age of 15, he had completed 14,000 hours of autism intervention services, like therapy, and that was paid for by Medicaid to help him in his challenges. And she says she feels the Trump administration has considered disabled people expendable. And here is Rachel Kreitz from Milwaukee.
We understand that the perception is that my son's life is not of the same value that anybody else's life is. And honestly, cutting Medicaid and devaluing that program has, in a very immediate way, demonstrated that lack of respect and value for the lives of people with disabilities.
If I sound a little harsh in judging how people who favor these budget cuts view people with disabilities, you can understand. It's kind of rooted in the repeal and replace category. You say you want to repeal something that's costing money you don't want to spend, but there's nothing to really replace it with. And in this case, Salina, what's being repealed is that dignity and sense of independence through the ability to work a job.
Looks like we might have lost Salina there.
I think
And
so.
Selena
Maybe.
is frozen, so I'll just
you're
jump
right.
in and say, you're right.
Okay, let's hear more. Let's hear more from Rachel Kreitz.
My son, on the other hand, and people with disabilities more generally, are just like you and me. My son wants to work. That is his goal upon graduation. He will tell you he wants to be professional and independent. What's your goal for today, Joshua? What do you want to do at work? I want to be professional and I want to be independent. And he's working very, very hard to be exactly that. But to be it, he requires vocational support. He has a job coach that is paid for through Medicaid. He will show up at work as much as he can. He's currently working 3 different jobs and he loves it. But if his Medicaid funding is decreased and his job coach doesn't have the funding to work with him, then my son's hours at work will be cut. And if the funding drops down too low and my son loses his job coach, he won't be able to work.
And Kristen, it's not just that Joshua won't be able to work, but chances are he'll need some kind of home health care that he would otherwise be getting through other services, which is going to take parents or other family members out of the workforce as well. Again, short-sighted doesn't nearly begin to explain these Medicaid cuts.
As a society, we have to decide whether we are going to invest in people, regardless of what our challenges are, or if we're going to divest and institutionalize and isolate these folks who have so much to share. And you can hear this mom advocating for her child. And it is true. There are so many of these folks who just don't have a voice, including, hey, I hear you out there, Rob. I know you want to speak up because we've had this conversation. So I really want to encourage disability advocates to use your voices, because this is the time. If you're living with a disability, if you need help, we need your voices to help people understand what's at stake here.
That is Dr. Kristen Lyerly. She's going to hang around for our interview with State Senator Kelda Roys, candidate for governor, coming up just about 15 minutes from now. And then we'll talk to John and Gordy from our civic media station in Madison in our next hour as well. Jimmie Kaska will give us a little bit of sports, and Jane Matnair will tell us what's coming up on her program from 9 to 11. That's all ahead. Live from the lake, I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Nice of you to join us.
Oh my gosh. So all of a sudden it went no internet. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, you were
hello.
frozen.
Oh no. I was like, ah.
I know.
No.
I'm now at the point here.
Oh
It was
my
fine.
gosh.
It was fine. We
I've
went to
always
your
got-
other clip and we covered it. It was
Along with
fine.
everything else,
good.
I have to turn on my hotspot now every day, just in case the stupid spectrum goes out.
Ah.
Fun.
So
Anyway.
should I?
Yeah.
Well,
no, we did the second bite, so we'll just pick up where we left
that
off
works.
and head into the third one.
Perfect timing. So I'm on the phone right now. So
Yeah, I can see.
That you let her sit frozen for so long. I was worried that it was me. And
I was
that
worried it was
all-
me. So
Oh
I was
my
just waiting for
gosh.
Kristen to go, well, I'll take it from now till 9, you know.
Selena, I just
and Brittany is 9 times in a row now.
and here's an example. There's Brittany now.
The links are so weird. I clicked the other one, but it just loves you.
I guess.
Gosh.
Bye.
Selena, I did send you a bunch of like 3 different resources.
Okay.
All people who would be great to talk with.
Thanks. And the other doctor, I saw messages come. That was in my panic mode. So
Oh, yeah. About autism and Tylenol. I did a little reel about it over the weekend with Dr. Kelda Holmgren, who's a high-risk pregnancy doctor out of Illinois, and also happens to be Mike Holmgren's daughter. She's brilliant.
Oh, okay.
How do you know all these people?
It's Green Bay. It's not that big.
She's one of my people. She's part of my
She's part
my
of the tribe.
district.
Yep.
Yeah.
The healthcare tribe.
She's fantastic too. She gave this like long lecture about all these high-risk pregnancy things. And then the last thing she said was, and one other thing, because patients are hearing this information about Tylenol and they're worried about it. It gets to patients through these different pathways.
Right.
20
Right,
seconds.
20 seconds. What he said. Welcome back on this Monday morning, September 22nd, 2025. Dr. Kristen Lyerly is here. Up North News reporter Salina Heller is back with us now after that internet hiccup. And before she was so rudely interrupted by technology, we were talking about her interview with Rachel Kreitz and her son, Josha, who has autism, and thanks to more than 10,000 hours of therapy and all kinds of vocational training and other things through Medicaid, he's able to hold down jobs. But that's the kind of independence that could be lost with these coming cuts from Medicaid. And by the way, it's worth saying again, people going, well, I haven't seen any cuts in Medicaid. No, you haven't. The cuts are timed to arrive after next year's midterm, but they've been passed. These things are coming unless things change. And so when you talked to Rachel about this, she definitely has the right perspective on the funding that helps her son Josha. It's being taken away from people who benefit greatly from it, gives it to people who don't need it, and leaves no replacement for those who would otherwise be in institutions, or maybe it takes other family members out of, their jobs because now they have to care for these people.
Right.
And Rachel's right to sound a little alarmed about this.
Well, right. She says, it doesn't make any sense. How does this even make sense? And she tries to explain it to Josha. He's 22 and he can't wrap his head around, of course, his help being taken away from him potentially. And I mean, there are 2 million people, autistic people in this country who benefit from Medicaid. And so there are a lot of families who will be left to kind of fill in all of those gaps if this really comes to fruition. And it's just, she says, just Medicaid is a lifeline. It's essential to their daily lives. And so this is more of what Rachel had to say.
It's not an agenda that supports people, millions of people who need and deserve the support. And instead, it hands over critical funding to people who don't need a job coach and don't need transportation services and can live on their own and maybe have 5 houses already of their own. My son just wants the chance to have a roommate and at some point move out with his supports. And that's what is potentially being taken away from him. When you cut the funding, you take those opportunities away. And again, before we funded this stuff, historically, people lived in, they had, very different life. People with disabilities lived in institutions. I hope that is not where this country is taking us back to, but I fear that if the cuts are implemented, that over time, that is exactly where this is leading us. And that's a very, back to the beginning of the conversation, how do you feel? We feel scared. We feel scared about what this says about our future and other people's futures.
And Salina, Kristen, folks are already reacting to that. From Colleen, she says, my sister is one of these people on Medicaid services and work programs, receives family care support with Lakeland. I worry that more employers are scaling back already. She says companies are already planning and scaling down. Tony says hospitals are definitely setting budgets to these cuts as well. And so impacts are starting to be felt. And, Kristen, from a political standpoint, from what I said earlier, like these cuts are going to come in, after the midterms. And so people might be thinking, oh, well, then there's still time to, pull them back. No, these plans are already being made. There will still be an impact of some sort or another on people.
Absolutely. These plans are being made. And I think they thought they were clever by waiting until after the midterms before the real hammer fell. But hospitals have to make budgets and they have to plan in advance. So that's why, to Tony's point, they're already starting to make those cuts. They're already starting to think about the future, and they're already starting to think about how they're going to live without that federal money. When you hear about rural hospitals, for example, and the money that they put back into rural hospitals, it's a third of what they would have otherwise invested in rural hospitals that are already struggling. So things are about to get really scary, and we are going to need to support each other, help each other out, and speak up for each other, our most vulnerable community members, and that is especially the disability community.
Is that pretty much, Salina, where Rachel left things with you? Is just, she's speaking out and urging other people to do the same?
Exactly. And she says, she does that in her community and with other parents who are in positions like hers. They contact their legislators all of the time. And she said, there's still an opportunity and you still have to keep working. And she does that. She's pretty a big advocate for her son, of course, and for others, because she knows how it is to be in similar shoes.
Mm-hmm. That again from Salina Heller, and you can see her video report on that on UpNorthNews social media feeds. Kristen, you were in St. Louis. We talked earlier about the American College of OBGYNs, ACOG, but you also managed to take in a Brewers game since they were in St. Louis, and you just happened to be at the one game of the series where they did really well.
What is it about the Cardinals and the Brewers? Or is it just that I have PTSD from 1982?
From 1982. It's just a holdover. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. That game went into extra innings. So they played 3 games. They got crushed in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
The second game went into extra innings, which was like a brilliant end. And then yesterday they lost too. Come on, guys. You got this.
But they did clinch the division. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Again, Salina's report you can see on UpNorthNews social media feeds, and Kristen has the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show Saturdays and Sundays at 3:00 on 98.3 and 96.5 in the Oshkosh Appleton areas, and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on 97.9 and 1590 a.m. in the Green Bay areas. Kristen's going to hang around and help me here talk to Senator Kelda Roys, candidate for governor. Salina, you have a great day. We'll talk to you a little bit later on.
Thank you. Sounds good. You too.
All right. So much more ahead here. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. she goes.
Oh, yeah. That was bad timing.
I know. We have it happen here too. So, all right. I will see you at 9:00.
Okay, see you then. Bye,
I
Kristen.
sent
I'll
you
talk to you later.
Yeah, I sent you a bunch of contacts.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Right. Let's see if Kelda is there.
I am here.
I'm here. Yep, I see a black screen, and there she is now.
Good morning.
Morning.
I brought a friend, if you don't mind. So.
Oh, I never mind.
Okay.
I like a
asked
party.
I asked if I could stay on.
Yeah, that's great.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, we're good. I mean, not as busy as you, but are you back home? Are you on the road?
I'm at home at the moment. But I'm doing some press later today and then call time, and yeah, I'm everywhere and anywhere.
Especially at call time. Yep.
Exactly.
Remember it so well. All right. All right. Well, I think you're in good shape here. So we'll get going in 3.5 minutes. I'll tuck you back in the waiting room and see you in a little bit.
Sounds good.
There's multiple reasons for that. We've had plenty of rainfall and it's kind of been timed. So like typically we think of cool season grasses, especially as we hear this term summer slump. This year that was timed up with plenty of rainfall. And so the summer slump was pretty minor.
Extension grazing specialist Jason Cavadini says it's crucial to keep grasses and legumes in a leafy growing state, and that means managing mature growth carefully. You can find the full interview at MidwestFarmReport.com. I've got more agribusiness news coming your way.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
Here at the Midwest Farm Report, we're always tuned in to what you're listening to. If you missed a big story, don't worry, we've got your back. Here are the top 5 most listened to stories from this past week. At number 5, from $5 to 35,000 moms, the blooming success of Honeymoon Acres. At number 4, tips and tricks to keep ticks off your back. Number 3, a new bill aims to help beginning farmers find land. At number 2, cattle producers are urging folks to speak up against a proposed fee hike. And the number 1 most listened to story of the week, livestock markets also push back against what they're calling an excessive fee increase. Stick with us for more of the stories that matter most right here on the Midwest Farm Report. I'm Stephanie Hoff.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Maggie Dawn Show, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Some patchy fog possible early, otherwise a mix of clouds and sun. An isolated shower or storm possible in the afternoon with highs in the mid to upper 70s. A better chance for showers and thunderstorms tonight. A mild night with lows in the lower 60s. Current temperature 61 degrees.
Shop Furlough Mattress during our Labor Day sale. It's our biggest sale of the season. Get a free box spring with a mattress purchase or upgrade to an adjustable base and save even more. At Furlough, every mattress we make is factory direct and custom made locally for you. And it's backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Don't fall for the other guy's mattress gimmicks. Furlough has no middleman, so you'll get the comfort you want and save a whole lot of money. American made, locally crafted. Furlough.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
Back in 30 seconds.
Nice to have you back here at 7:35 on a Monday morning, live from Lake Wissota on the Civic Media Radio Network, where this hour we have kicked off a new round of our Text to Win contest. This one's called Go for the Green and Gold. There's a green and gold to be won every day. 7 chances to win throughout the day, different keywords each time. Text in those keywords each day. Of all those entries, somebody's going to win $200 cash. That's the green. And then there's a gold-plated chain as well. And then of all the entries, all of them out there, one lucky winner is going to win 2 club-level indoor seats to see Green Bay versus Minnesota. It's a Green Bay home game on November 23rd, a noon game, plus a gas card to get you there. So before the end of this hour, you've got to text in NEW, N-E-W. Head to the Civic Media app, call up one of the stations, use the text feature, and text in the word NEW, N-E-W. Senator Kelda Roys is going to join us in just a moment, but first, with Dr. Kristen Lyerly here as well, I asked people at the start of the show, in honor of fall beginning this afternoon, what's so great about fall in Wisconsin? And Jim in Brookfield, I find the change in climate the most enjoyable part of fall. The bright colors on the trees, cooler temps, a lower sun angle make being outside a nice fall experience. I will be outside as much as possible this fall while recovering from knee surgery with coffee and apple crisp. So, fellow knee replacement person, Kristen Lyerly, I think he's got a good idea.
I like your style, Jim.
Especially the apple crisp.
Oh, yeah. We're going to make a visit down to the orchard later today, I think.
Yeah.
I love this time of year.
Sherry made a second batch of apple crisp because apparently somebody inhaled the first batch. Possibly the guy she's married to.
Who could that have been?
Who could that have been?
Great for breakfast. Just
hey, it's Build a Better Breakfast Month, apple crisp.
And it's Hobbit Day.
Breakfast. Yes.
So you get to do it twice.
2 breakfasts are great. Here comes Senator Kelda Roys joining us as well, candidate for governor for all of 1 week now. Senator, nice to have you here. Good morning.
Great to be with you.
Yeah. So 1 week in, no regrets. You're going to keep going?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been just a wonderful week. The response has been overwhelming, and I think people are really excited about the possibilities of what we can build in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Now, I mean, obviously, we've had you on several times talking about legislative experience and some of the important issues that are out there. So, and even since your announcement, the candidate field has grown even larger. So I wanted to start off by asking something I'm sure you've thought about, knowing there were going to be multiple candidates in the race. What is it about you that's going to set you apart that when this primary is held in August of next year, what are voters ultimately going to see in you that's going to make you the Democratic nominee next year?
We know that when voters are looking at who they want to be their governor, experience really, really matters. And at this point in Wisconsin's history, it matters even more. And that's because in 2026, we are very likely going to have a really narrow window to make big changes in our state, to really recommit to public education and funding our university and early childhood, to addressing the economic harms that have been visited on working people in the middle class, to make healthcare affordable and accessible. But if we're going to do that, we're going to have a very narrow legislative majority, or maybe we'll have a split legislature. We have to have a governor who knows how to get things done in that difficult legislative environment and is ready to go on day one. So that's me. If you look at my career of over 20 years, I have been able to make big progressive changes on a whole range of challenging issues like reproductive rights, healthcare, criminal justice reform, in these various types of legislative environments. And I think that length of time, that record of making change as an advocate, legislator, attorney, small business owner, I think that really sets me apart.
I hear you making sure that you hit both sides of what you would call, I don't know, the electability question, both for the primary and in the general election, in that there has to be a desire to go bold on issues if Democrats, especially if they have a trifecta with the Assembly and the Senate. But if they don't, there also has to be the side of the equation in the general election of being able to get things done. And you believe that you can be the best of both worlds when you go through a primary campaign.
Absolutely. And I think, if you look at the different types of work that I have done, as an attorney, small business owner, and as a legislative leader for about 10 years, you can see that I have been able to work across the aisle on important issues like expanding access to healthcare and helping nurse practitioners be more available for folks in rural and urban communities. But I've also really been a champion on issues that matter a lot to Democratic primary voters, like reproductive freedom, like public education, like childcare and paid family leave. And those issues, I think, are going to be broadly popular in the overall electorate, but they're also going to be very important, I think, for Democratic primary voters when they're looking at the field and saying, who do I think not just agrees with me on the issue, but actually has a plan and knows how to get it done and has the experience to thread that narrow, that small needle and get things passed quickly, because we know Republicans have dominated the legislature for 30 of the last 32 years. They've controlled at least one house, and they have blocked so much progress. So when we have a narrow window, whether it's a Republican assembly, but only by a seat or two, or a Democratic assembly only by a seat or two, we need a governor that can effectively herd that legislature and get things done.
You are in Madison, where people are engaged. They're paying attention. They kind of like talking about politics. I'm in Green Bay, where people are exhausted, and they tend to be a little bit more connected to just putting food on their table and some of the basic economic issues. How do you message to folks outside of places like Madison and Milwaukee, where people really don't love what's happening with politics, but still are struggling with so much of the fallout from the political decisions that are being made?
Yeah, I think it's really important to connect those dots for people about why working people have been working harder than ever. We're more productive, and yet it's getting harder and harder to make ends meet. And that's not just because of rising prices. It's also because wages have been really, really stagnant. Wisconsin's minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour. It hasn't been raised in my adult life. And that is so unacceptable. And you can see how worker power has diminished over time. And so helping people sort of see that the fact that they are struggling or they're not living and thriving in the way that they should be, given how hard they're working, and that it's not your fault. It is the system by design to try to make the wealthiest even wealthier. And I'm talking about billionaires and big corporations who are not paying their fair share. And that's, by the way, also why your kid's school is being defunded and you're having to constantly vote to raise your own property taxes to keep the lights on. So when I'm traveling around the state, and this is not new for me, I mean, I have spent my career working to build democratic power, working to make change. After law school, I was the head of a statewide reproductive rights organization, and I traveled around the state and talked about really challenging personal issues, right? Abortion rights, sex education, reproduction, with people. And I just think if you sit down and listen to people and truly hear them, you can build connections, even with people who might initially disagree or be disengaged. And I think that political work is really, really important. And that's what I have spent my life doing. I'm not someone who sits in a Madison bubble. I have always traveled around the state. I have knocked doors in probably, most of the Senate districts in the state. I have helped to flip the Supreme Court, not by focusing on Madison and on Dane County, but by traveling around the state to these swing areas that I knew it was going to be really important. And I think that commitment to really being a governor for the entire state of Wisconsin is important.
We are talking to State Senator Kelda Roys about her run for governor. And Kelda, you can put on your legislator hat as well on this one, because we are now in the fall session of the legislature. And with the state budget being done, we turn to other bills that are out there. Republicans have put together a package of bills dealing with education. Democrats put together a package dealing with education. And there seems to be pretty clear differences between the packages and how they prioritize educating our kids and being fair to our taxpayers.
That's right. I mean, the Republicans straight up said that what they're looking at for our schools is school closures, it's consolidation, and it's continued underfunding and privatization. And I think that's really offensive, because every kid in Wisconsin, it is their birthright to get a good public education. And it shouldn't matter who you are, where you're from, the zip code you're in, how much money your parents have. The quality of your education should not be contingent on those things. Democrats believe that public education is essential for every student and that we have to make sure that our students and teachers have what they need to succeed. Money is a part of it. I mean, you can't do it without money, and our kids have not had even an inflationary increase in our schools for 15 years. But it's not just money, right? It's also about making sure that students and teachers are equipped to succeed. And so that's things like getting distractions out of the classroom, making sure that teachers have adequate professional development time. We don't expect firefighters and police officers to buy their own equipment. And we have all kinds of programs to help people get the training that they need. But for teachers, we're happy to just make them pay out of pocket and take their own personal time to do it. And I think, that's one of the things that's contributing to the teacher retention crisis, in addition to obviously the changes that were made in Act 10 that have made it very, very difficult for teachers in the classroom.
As the mom of a public school teacher, yes, that is also entirely true. And I want to shift to something a little bit more personal. You have a whole pack of kids. I have a whole pack of kids. And
yes, we do.
Yes. I mean, together we've got teams, like we could compete.
Yes.
And when you listen to your kids, like they inform so much of the stuff that I do because they're paying attention and they and their friends have ideas about the future that they want to see. How do your children, how does your family inform you as you are moving forward in this really, I mean, this is an incredible thing that you're doing and it's very challenging. So how do your kids see this and help you on your path?
Well, I'm just really lucky because my kids are very supportive. I have 2 young adult stepdaughters that have been in my life and have helped to raise since they were 4 and 7. And one recently graduated from college and is interested in environmental science and research. So she and I talk a lot about all different kinds of political issues, and she helps me keep my finger on the pulse of what's happening in college campuses and how to engage young people. And then my oldest stepdaughter is actually an ICU nurse. And so we talk a lot about obviously healthcare and what it's like for that healthcare workforce. We talked about how teachers have been squeezed, but boy, our healthcare workforce is really being run ragged as well. So figuring out how we get more young people in that healthcare pipeline and how we can retain the healthcare workers that we have. And then I've got 3 little ones that are 11, 7, and 4. So I have childcare and early childhood, and seeing the incredible work that our childcare educators do to get kids ready for school, to help them learn how to solve their problems without biting or hitting, to teach kids how to
to
put
the
their snow
legislature
boots on.
too, by the way. Just
Sorry.
tell that to some of the legislators too.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it sounds like there's kids in the backseat bickering sometimes to hear things from the other side of the aisle. Learn more
Right.
at keldaforgov.com. Head over to Facebook and Instagram at Kelda Roys is the handle there. State Senator Kelda Roys, always great to connect. Safe travels. Stay in touch.
Thank you.
All right. When we come back in our next hour, we will be talking about Madison Matters with our civic media friends, John and Gordy. Jimmie Kaska has an updates with sports as well. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. There we go.
Yay.
All right. Thank you. Always nice to share the load.
Yeah. We have a really cool, diverse group of folks running for governor right now. Well, on the Democrat side, on the Republican side, it's kind of like rinse and repeat. But I mean, to see Francesca Hong and Kelda Roys and Sarah Rodriguez and David Crowley, they all bring such different things to the table.
Oh, I know. Well, that's what I thought in 2018. It's like, oh, wow, if we could just fuse all the best of these people together, or put them all in the cabinet like a Knights of the Round Table kind of thing,
Right. Well, it's like what Kelda was saying, this daughter helps me. We talk about climate stuff. This daughter, we talk about healthcare. My little kids, we're talking about education and childcare funding. And, she's like living all of it right now.
Right. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Parker, I feel like I need either you to dip into John and Gordy or for Dom to brief us during the 8 o'clock as far as stuff they talked about on their show. So I just feel like I'm fishing on air. So what'd you guys talk about?
It's tough because that break is always kind of a yeah.
I know.
I can
No. I'm just
I can see what I can do.
musing out loud.
I can try.
What Kristen, you got any big things for this week? Travels or anything?
I'm going to go to the Gopher game on Saturday.
Oh, okay. All right. You okay hanging around for Jimmy's segment so I can say a proper goodbye?
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy. How you doing?
What's going on?
Huge Monday.
Huge.
Monday.
How's that knee doing? The new ice helps?
It's right there.
Still there. All right.
Franken knee.
knee.
I was the only injury from our football game Friday. I got cleated on the sideline. Had a
You
player
got
roll into
cleated?
me. I'm missing part of my shin right now.
Oh.
Nice.
It hurts.
Yikes.
I don't move very fast, so they were coming right for me. It was like watching a semi skidding across the ice. I'm like, I am not getting out of the way of this. There's no way. I didn't go down though, to be fair. I have not gone down. I just I took it and then it hurt. I just stood there and I hurt. And they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm crying right now."
There's no crying in football. Wait, that's probably not the line. All right,
Back.
20 seconds. Before we bring Jimmie Kaska and Kristen, before you go, I wanted to bring up a comment from Tony who talked about Ashland proposing a 4-day school week for budget reasons. How can working parents handle that? There already is no daycare available. And now you're cutting school years or school weeks down to 4 days a week. And again, it's not just Kelda, it's a message that we hear over and over and over again, that when you're not supporting education or when you're not supporting Medicaid, as we were talking about earlier this hour, I mean, there's just, for a bunch of people to talk about business, there's no return on investment for these kinds of cuts.
I can't imagine what it would be like to be a kid going to school for longer days, 4 days a week with all of the things that they're doing and their extracurricular activities. And, especially as you get older and you're trying to cram in all that other stuff in the evening, that doesn't sound awesome to me. But hey, I think it is important to think of it in a holistic way from a community perspective, considering all of the resources that you've got and what you need to buffer.
Yeah. So the news sometimes feels glum, and so we like to sometimes lift the load by thinking of something light and fun, like sports. Anyway, the Packers lost, the Badgers lost, the Brewers lost. Here's Jimmie Kaska with more. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing the room down. You haven't even said a word yet, and I'm already
I have
depressed.
not. The high school team I coached lost too. So
There you go.
We're all just hurting right now.
Okay, let me reset. Ladies and gentlemen, your Milwaukee Brewers for the third year in the row are Central Division champions. So we got that going for us.
Yes, that is if you're looking for a silver lining this weekend, if you're rooting for all the Wisconsin sports, your silver lining is that the Brewers are indeed division champions.
And once again, thank you. We've been thanking Jerry Jones, for Micah Parsons. Let's say thank you again to Craig Counsell for, in this case, getting swept by the Reds. The Cubs did, so that we could clinch the division yesterday, even after losing to St. Louis. So, Craigers, thank you.
The other good news for the Brewers is that they're 3 games up for the best record in the NL and the number 1 seed. And that's important because that keeps them out of the wild card round. It keeps them at home more often than not, depending on how far they advance to the playoffs. So there's other good news too to come out of just the Brewers. And it's funny because usually by the time we hit mid to late September, we've forgotten about the Brewers in the past anyway. And we're already on to, hey, the Packers just had their right tackle is hurt. Who's going to step in as their second string tackle and take over that spot. That would be the big debate today. But no, we're talking Brewers because they are by far the best thing going. And not to say that the Packers aren't, doing well. Obviously, 2-1, good start, 2 wins to start the year. Things like that. But the Brewers sure are a bright spot for us right now.
Yes, they are. And don't sugarcoat the Packers thing at all. Yeah, 2-1's a good start. Yeah, but that one loss, that was a stinkeroo. It was a boring game to watch, but that's also a credit to the defenses on both teams. But okay, you're more of a football guy than I am. Okay. I totally get this. You got 6 minutes left. Just run out the clock. Emphasis on run. Don't fumble the ball, and maybe don't throw it into the hands of the other player. And Jordan Love talks about it being a miscommunication thing. I just think it's more of a coaching thing. Is you're handing the ball to Jacobs the whole game. Just keep running it.
Yeah, I think, when we look at the end of the game, there's going to be a lot of things we can second guess. There's a lot of special team stuff. There's a lot of things you can point to. It's one that definitely got away. You could tell because when our very own Mike Clement sends us the post-game audio, he's sending us files that say bleeped or edited because the players are so mad. So like half the files we get, there's some kind of swearing in it.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Parker loves that when we send him stuff going, hey, bleep this for us, please, Parker. He loves that.
Oh, yeah. It's a great time needing to go all the way back through everything and going,
Yep. The best part about that, though, nowadays compared to when we were growing up, it was, they'd either beep it, there'd be a bleep, or they just bring the sound down so that you didn't hear the word. And the thing I like now is we'll just put sound effects over it. You'll hear a cow move, or you'll hear a cartoon anvil crack, whatever, just to say, yeah, that's a word we can't say. And that is what has been happening this week. But again, it's just a week. Brewers are already heading to San Diego. They've left St. Louis. They will be taking on the Padres tonight. 8:05 is the start time on civic media stations around the state. 3 games in San Diego, day off Thursday, and then a 3-game homestand next weekend against Cincinnati. And then we get to thinking about the postseason. So
they get a week off after that. If things hold, they're 3 games up for that top record. They would have the whole week off from the wild card round and come back to work Saturday. And I think, for the Brewers, I mean, they really peaked in the middle of the year, right? They were really dominant in the middle of the year. This could come at a great time given, how banged up they've been getting in the pitching, especially the bullpen. So this comes at a pretty good time. But, there are some fun things to watch this week. The Brewers-Reds game on Saturday has been picked up for a national broadcast. So I think people are really trying to tune in and see what the Brewers are going to bring to this postseason.
And then the Packers, they head to Dallas for next Sunday night. So they won't be home. Kristen's got more time to recuperate the knee because then they have a bye week. So they're not at Lambeau again until October 12th, Sunday.
Yeah, they're in a stretch where they play once at home in like a month and a half. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, they knew Kristen's got to heal up, because she loves to ride her bike all the way out there.
That'll be fun with the Micah Parsons thing, the Dallas game.
Yes, it will.
How many times do you think they're going to put up Spencer Young's Packers fence with the sad Jerry Jones face over there? That's going to be on TV like a million times this week.
That's okay. Especially if it works out. If it doesn't work out, then we'll hear about, oh, you jinxed it and blah blah blah. But I'm looking forward to this. I really am. Dallas is that's the team you want to beat. And I love that when Dallas was playing Chicago and like, oh, these 2 storied franchises. Like, no, both franchises are a shell of what they used to be. So more so when you take Mike out of there. Hey, one more time reminder on the new Go for the Green and Gold text to win contest. You've got less than a minute to text us new NEW, and there will be more chances to win throughout the day and over the next couple of weeks. Jimmy, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Talk to you Wednesday.
And Kristen, of course, has the Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show. You can get it as a podcast or catch it over the weekends on civic media stations in Green Bay, Oshkosh, and Appleton. Thank you, Kristen. Have a great day.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great week.
All right. Yes, we'll talk to you a little later. All right. Our friends John and Gordy from our civic media station in Madison coming up after the news. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Yes, I will be actually doing the shows from Madison on Thursday, Friday. Oh, yeah, Barker's so happy.
I don't have to sit in a room by myself.
There you go. All right, Jimmy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, nobody's coming to hang out with me in my home office here. So my huskies occasionally, but
I mean, we could.
Yeah, but your bed is like right there. So
that's actually a couch, and it's covered. And believe it or not, there's a blanket covering a bunch of football helmets. There's like 3 of them sitting on top because I'm reconditioning them right now. So I bring my work home with me.
Nice.
Of course.
All right.
Anyway, take care.
See y'all later.
All right, fellas. See ya.
Bye.
The Washington Post reports the president's going to announce a link today between Tylenol use during pregnancy and autism. Tylenol's manufacturer says science shows this is not true. The UK among the countries to announce recognition of a Palestinian state. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls this an absurd award for terrorism, expected to be a major topic at the UN General Assembly, which begins today. This is ABC News.
Catch Farm Report updates throughout the day from the Midwest Farm Report, right here on 92.7 WMDX.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. A bill that would help first responders treat opioid overdoses is now on President Donald Trump's desk. Senator Tammy Baldwin authored the Safe Response Act. It gives $57 million per year until 2030 to help first responders save lives when people are suffering from fentanyl overdoses. Baldwin has been vocal about addiction struggles in her own family, and this bill was crafted with bipartisan input. It passed the Senate unanimously, and now it's waiting for the president's signature. And a UW-Madison professor testified to Congress about nuclear fusion. The House Science Committee's Energy Subcommittee held a hearing last week about the future of fusion, and one of 4 witnesses was Stephanie Deem, who's conducting experiments at UW-Madison to make fusion power easier and less expensive.
Fusion is a dense, virtually limitless source of power derived from hydrogen that could radically transform humanity. Fusion, the process that powers the sun, occurs when light elements are forced together and combine under extreme conditions, releasing vast amounts of energy. On Earth, we use magnetic bottles or powerful lasers to create these fusion conditions. Fusion gives us hope.
Lawmakers on the subcommittee say it could be the future of energy in America. And a reminder to drive safely around school buses. It's Operation Safe Stop Week. The Wisconsin State Patrol is teaming up with the Wisconsin School Bus Association in an effort to encourage safe driving near buses. The State School Bus Association worked with its members to identify bus stops where people illegally pass. Now, law enforcement will be adding extra patrols in those spots this week. And now a ticket for illegally passing a school bus will cost you a whole lot more. The penalty increased in 2024, so a citation will now cost $676.50 and 4 demerit points on your license. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
The Packers losing Cleveland. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. A huge upset. The Packers losing to the Browns, 13-10. The turning point, Jordan Love throwing an interception late in the fourth quarter, allowing the Browns to tie up the game.
No, we're running a triple slant concept, and they're in man coverage. And, I'm trying to work Wicks right there, number 2. The safety that's guarding Tucker, fell off that, pass it off. And
I don't know about you, but I feel like I've heard about this loss enough times today.
Yeah, I'm ready to be done with it, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it's going to work. Hi, guys.
Hello. Morning.
How are things?
Oh, it's a Monday.
Yeah, it is. It is a Monday.
Well,
The sports thing.
You're
Everybody
in the-
lost.
You're in the appropriate black for morning. What's with the get? Why is your partner looking all colorful and bright over here? What
This was the T-shirt that John bought
yes.
for me from the
Okay.
Ringo Starr concert.
That's right. It is. Okay.
So I thought I would wear it today.
That's nice.
Because he wore his, I think, a couple of days in a row last week, Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
He was
And
trying
the
to-
color looks great on him, doesn't it? Matches his deep blue eyes.
That's right.
Brown eyes.
See?
Worked together forever. You've never noticed.
This is the perfect marriage.
No, it's reflecting off your eyes. I could tell.
Okay.
It's really.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so did you do anything over the weekend, Pat?
No, we had original plans that got canceled. Some friends had a parent that took ill, and so we actually got kind of a free weekend around the house, which was nice.
That's nice, huh?
Yeah, actually went to go see a movie near the end of the Packer game, so I fortunately got to miss the very end. So I'll
Yes,
tell
never
that.
waste your time on
tell
a
that
Packer
story.
game because you just don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's not a waste of time. It's just that we do something else in order to make sure it's never a waste of time.
Well, you get to those games like this one where you go, well, we got the lead. If we blow it, I don't want to be around to see it. And I was not around to see it. So I got that going
there
for
you
me.
go.
All right.
Gordon, you did go to the movies, though. You might want to ask him.
Oh,
Yep.
I did.
Spinal
Okay.
Tap.
So, did
Spinal
you?
Tap
Okay.
2. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
About as romantic as the one I went to, which allegedly was a rom-com. So,
all
right, 20 seconds.
Live across Wisconsin on Civic Media, you're listening to Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, powered by Up North News. Now, from our Lake Wissota studio, here is the founding editor of Up North News, Pat Kreitlow.
Hey, good morning. It is 8:06. Nice to have you here back up north on this Monday morning, September 22nd. Parker Olson producing things in Madison Studio A2. Brittany Merlot is standing by with the forecast. John and Gordy going to join us from Madison A1 in just a sec here as well. But we are marking the final hours of summer here. The autumnal equinox hits during the 1 o'clock hour this afternoon. And so we've been asking what's so great about fall in Wisconsin? I'm sorry, I need to say that differently. What's so great about fall in Wisconsin? I want you to tell us. Do you have a favorite place where you go to see the best color leaves? Is there a particular Oktoberfest that you like to go to? I think La Crosse's is coming up this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So what makes Wisconsin so great in the fall? Head over to the Up North News Facebook or YouTube pages, or the Civic Media Facebook or YouTube pages, or use the Civic Media app and either text us or leave a voice note to let us know all about your favorite things to do in Wisconsin during the fall. So speaking of said equinox and the climate and the weather and all that science stuff, Brittany Merlot is here. And is this what the equinox, is that the day where we're supposed to like stand an egg up and see if it balances and nonsense like that?
I think so. I've never done it.
Have you never heard of that?
I've heard of it. I've never done it.
Okay.
Maybe
Have you?
Where, because right when the sun's over the equator and the earth is like perfectly balanced and you can actually stand an egg up and it won't wobble like a weeble. Yeah, nobody believes that, but I'm
going to try it.
Okay,
I'm going to try it today.
now we got something to
I'm
do
gonna
during the
Facebook
1 o'clock
Live,
hour
and
today,
it's just
right?
going to smash.
I like it.
Yeah.
So
119. Here we go.
you did not lie when you said this could be kind of an icky, unpredictable, spotty system sitting over the state for the weekend. And yeah, true to form. So when do we get this out of here?
Yeah, it's a mess. We've got dense fog that built in. It's still lingering in places, and it could stick around till about noon in some spots. So foggy out there. It is dreary. We've got scattered sprinkles up north, more heavier rain down south. We've got a front draped from La Crosse to Sheboygan right now, and actually some strong to severe storms are hitting in towards Baraboo, Portage, and also into Montello as well. And those are continuing in towards Waupun and over east. So as that moves through the state today, I still think that storms are going to be sparking along that front. So expect from La Crosse to Sheboygan seeing more continuous rain. And then it does ramp up as we go into early this evening and tonight. As that front starts to slide south, it is going to sweep towards Madison, Milwaukee area, and continue to linger there through tomorrow. I think up north, we're going to stay dry tomorrow. Those scattered showers and rain stay way far south. You do have a chance in the southern parts to get a few sprinkles still into Wednesday, while the rest of the state dries out, warms up, sun comes back. We're actually going to be in the low to mid 70s for a good chunk of this week. But by the time we get to the weekend, it is going to be bright, beautiful, and near 80 degrees once again. So that is good temperatures and sunlight for the fall colors to be changing. And of course, we want the drier weather after such a wet weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Robin Tigerton says that he took pictures of the sunset with fog building in the background for the final summer sunset of 2025. Looking forward to seeing that. And he mentions that Apple Fest will be in Tigerton this Saturday. So that we're getting to that time of year now where you've got all your Apple Fests and things like that. Where else did I see? I haven't looked at the full list yet, but I know in Bayfield, They have an apple pie and dessert contest this weekend.
Ooh.
And then in Pittsville, they have the Splash of Red cranberry tours. So we got all kinds of
Oh.
great fall weekend things to do yet here.
There's so much stuff. Always the events, and the farmers markets before they close. And even if you can get off roading on the trails to see the fall
Yes.
colors in a different light, so gorgeous.
Yes. All right. And Tony says there's loads of fog in Ashland here today. So,
Ugh.
again, just, if that's the case, drive safe and we'll
Yeah.
get this burned out and have some nicer weather. Thank you, Brittany.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. All right. Remember, you can sign up for our newsletter at Up North News, upnorthnewswi.com. Click subscribe in the top banner. And there is a new daily newsletter from Civic Media. You can find it over on your, what do they call that thing? The Substack there. Yeah, civicmediatoday.substack.com. Again, civicmediatoday.substack.com. Listen to me sounding like an old codger. I'm just getting set to talk to people of my kind. That would be John and Gordy from WMDX and Madison, who join us as well. You can hear them in the Madison area 6 to 8 or on the Civic Media app. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good morning.
We're pretty good.
Doing
We only
okay.
work 2 hours. You work 3.
Yeah.
Well, there's a time change up here. We have to work 3 hours to get as much done as you guys get done in 2. I think that's
Well,
how it
thank you.
works.
I'll use that as an
Okay.
excuse next
Yeah,
time.
it was that, or I was going to credit your agent for great contract negotiating. But however it works, and it allows me to get to spend some time with you,
Well,
which is really nice.
There's
Sure.
some irony in all of this. We were up for the Best of Madison magazine award,
Uh-huh.
Best radio team.
best radio team, and we lost out to a radio team that does 1 hour a week. So, we put
Wow.
5 hours of a lot of research and show
Ah.
prep in, and these guys go in for 1 hour
An hour,
and they beat us up.
10. Yeah.
there's a lot to say about some of these, shall we say, elections. Basically,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think I was up in volume 1 for Chippewa Valley Radio. And I thought I had a few more votes than I did, but once I counted me and my mom and Sherry, and
That's
the
it.
the
Yeah.
daughters kind of forgot. So I got 3 votes, which is nice. So over the weekend, I wanted to ask in Madison now,
Mhm.
and this goes back, there was a pretty good 30-year run there for Badger football. I mean, if you go back to when Barry Alvarez first came on the scene, there were some dark times. Then things got better. It's a pretty good run. Shall we say football karma for the Badgers is stop me if you've heard this pun before, a little fickle?
Yeah, I would
That's
say,
good.
I would say a
That's
lot of
good.
people are criticizing the Badger coaching right at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it like to be in the shadow of Camp Randall when it's just not as guaranteed good as it used to feel down there?
Well, it's frustrating, I'm sure for the Badger fans, especially. I mean, the big Badger fans,
The alumni.
the
It's more
alumni, the
difficult for
people
them
that
at this point.
followed
Yeah.
them for years. Yeah, I'm sure it's very, very frustrating for them.
The
and,
kids don't know the history. They don't care.
yeah,
They go to the
yeah,
game just to have fun.
They get
Yeah.
spoiled.
It's just
Yeah.
a big party. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of party, as I was trying to look at what was happening down there, I believe over the weekend was the Willie Street Fair.
Yes.
Okay.
It-
Willie Street. That's Williamson. That's the full name of the street, right? But they call
Right.
it Willie
Correct.
Street. Okay,
Yep.
got it. And I'm not saying you guys go every year, but that's not a small little craft fair. That's kind of a big deal, right?
It's a fun, eclectic time.
It's
Let's
very
put it that
popular.
way.
Eclectic describes Willie Street very well. Yes,
Yeah.
It used to be Willie Street was just loaded with hippies,
Yeah.
I mean, talking late 60s, early 70s. It's changed over the years. There's still that element. There's a feel over
Yeah.
there. There's a lot of very independent shops,
Yes.
not very any franchise places or anything like that. It's still kept its charm.
There's a lot of T-shirts on display there, Pat. A lot of
Yes,
very
yes.
worn old T-shirts on display.
But there are a
confirm,
lot
yes.
of really cool cafes and, book
Yes.
nooks and places like that.
One thing I noticed over the summer is that because the students are in this college town, there are a lot of seniors out there. And I'm thinking, boy, look at all these seniors. What will happen to all the businesses downtown when they're gone,
Yeah.
And, well, they're replaced by Students.
Yes, yes.
Now
they
I
are.
don't.
Yep.
Now I don't see any seniors. I only see our students. We went down downtown here over the weekend to celebrate our wedding anniversary, and it was a lot of fun. But very young and encouraging, to say the least.
That is good though. When you see that, you don't see the signs of a city or a town that's getting old.
Right.
Because you don't see the young adults coming in there. So that part is refreshing.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the Badger team doing well, and if the Packers are going to break your heart as they did yesterday,
Yes.
I suppose you have
Brewers
the
lost.
alternative of going to the movies, which I believe is what Gordy did over the weekend.
That's right. Yeah, I went to see Spinal Tap 2, and
The end continues. Is
the
that?
end continues, and I gotta say, I thought it was really funny, really
good.
good, and I enjoyed it. It might not have the charm of the first movie, because that was really groundbreaking, kind of a mockumentary, groundbreaking hit. But now all the guys are older, and it was all about getting old, and we got to do one more show, just go out on a high note, and that was it was funny from beginning to end.
It's great.
I thought.
It's great commentary on the aging rock and rollers out
Yes.
there. I mean, there are so many of them that stayed in the business
Oh, yeah.
and still stayed very relevant with their music. MJ, it's kind of cool.
And I don't want to give away any spoilers. I think they're already out there, but there's some cameos from McCartney and Elton John and Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood and
I'm going to guess Bob Dylan was not one of them, because
Bob Dylan did not show up.
Because he did what was it, Alpine Valley the other day, and once again,
Yeah.
like his concert in Eau Claire several weeks back, basically he just kind of sits off in the corner of the stage. The stage is bathed in red. You can barely see him. And he just kind of he doesn't talk. He just kind of sings the songs and then goes away. And everybody's like,
Oh,
is that it? Yep, that's
No,
it.
I did not see a story on that. That's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
So I did a movie yesterday as well.
Oh, really?
And Sherry put it very, very well. I thought. She's like, look, the Brewers are still doing well. I can't get into the Packer stuff. It's nice out. I don't want to sit for 3 hours and watch a football game. Plus, we could see it was like they were driving. We're like, okay, they're going to run out the clock. It's going to be great. There's a movie that's starting. Let's go. It was called A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie. I'd never heard of it. I'd never seen the previews, the commercials, nothing. Went into it completely blind. Sherry had seen it, wanted to see it. And I'm not against rom-coms. That's fine. And this was more of a fantasy one. Again, I don't want to do spoilers. So if I just say there's some time travel in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And it's very it's the kind of thing that you'd see more in like a film festival art thing, but it was very well done. I don't have any bad words to say about it. The story I'm telling about it deals with being in seats with the reclining chairs now. I hope you've been in some of those with the little power recliner, which is nice. But it means the legs go up and then the legs go down with the push of a button, unlike the old theater seats where you always knew what was underneath. Well, at one point I heard a noise and I realized that I dropped my readers because I'm of that age now. And I'm like, oh, the readers fell between the seats. Well, I'll get it after the movie. And so I put the seat all the way out, push the button. I get on my hands and knees, and you realize that with the recliners there now, they don't clean under the seats the way that you could when it was just the seats. Are you guys familiar with the term primordial soup?
Oh, yeah.
The ooze from which all life evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a collection of dried Coca-Cola and bits of candy and petrified popcorn, and somewhere just out of reach, I could see the readers, but it would have involved getting into that ooze. So I'm in the market for some new readers if you've got a place down there, but
so what theater was
movies.
this?
So you just left them there?
What theater was
I just left them there at that point. I'm like,
Oh,
nope, I'll
man.
just you can get readers for like the $1.25 at Walgreens, it seems.
Okay.
We're talking to John and Gordy about ways you can entertain yourself, like a movie. Just watch where you drop your stuff. And we'll continue on this Monday morning live from Lake Wissota. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
You left them there?
Are you kidding? I wish I'd have taken a picture of it. It's one of the grossest things I have ever seen. Oh my God.
What theater was that, Pat?
I was going to say, I probably got the theater in trouble now because, I mean, if they do inspections or something, it is,
but it's not one of the big chains, though, right?
No.
Okay. Hey, by the way, I have my own story about that.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I will jump in. On the text line from Jim in Brookfield, glad to hear Gordy enjoyed Spinal Tap 2. My sister and I laughed from beginning to end. Great cameos, Jim from Brookfield. So,
yeah, all right.
Little affirmation there. You guys been asked to do like, movie reviews and things?
Oh, John used to do them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I used to do Johnny at the Movies. Just a regular everyday guy, talking about the movies. I don't know too much about the directors or the script writers or the showrunners or anything like that. I just I like the movie for what it is.
Yeah.
So
That's the movie review I want. It's just an average guy's take.
Average guy's movie review.
I should bring that back somehow. But what's the name of the movie, that rom-com you went to?
A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna
I have to say, I didn't know much about Margot Robbie. I mean, I saw her in a Barbie movie, and I thought that was perfectly fine. I didn't see anything else, and she was really good in there for the character that she was playing.
Yeah.
And I've always liked Colin Farrell. And I thought the age difference was actually bigger because I think Colin Farrell's been around for a while. So at first I wasn't really buying into the chemistry because I thought there was a bigger age difference. Looked up afterwards, it's 15 years, but I was thinking it was like 20 plus. But
yeah.
What do I know? For all I know, both of you are married to 18-year-olds. I don't know.
I wish. Pretty close, man. my wife is 14 years younger. That didn't go over well with the family.
That's all right. Stand by. On the program, kind of our usual Tuesday passel of guests. Hans Breitenmoser will be along. I believe Sheila Everhart as well from the Wisconsin Agricultural Tourism Association. We will have Cam Stevenson live from Capitol Hill from Courier Newsroom. We will also have Dan Schaefer from the Recombobulation area talking about Wisconsin politics. But as far as Cam Stevenson goes, now he's got a daily newsletter called Below the Beltway. You can get it through couriernewsroom.com or beltway.news for daily dispatches from the nation's capital via Courier Newsroom's own. And Cam Stevenson will be joining us tomorrow morning on the program. This morning on the program, we are continuing to be joined by John and Gordy from WMDX down in Madison. And before the break, we were talking about Johnny at the Movies and, giving more of a real live movie review. Like you said, I don't know I don't know directors. I don't know who the gaffer was or the best boy. It's either you liked it or you don't like it, which sounds a lot like John's movie reviews.
Yeah, it was just a regular guy's approach to movies. You like it, you didn't like it, what was good about it, what was bad about it. Just a regular everyday person. Nothing about directors, showrunners, or anything like that. Now, you went to the movie, what is it?
Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey.
Yes. And here's the thing. These two individuals that starred in it are very much in the DC universe. Colin
Robbie, and Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell played Penguin in the TV series on Max. And then he was also Bullseye in Daredevil. And then Margot Robbie, of course, was Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad. And not just being Barbie, but a super villain as well.
Yes.
So,
which I know she's gotten good reviews for that as well.
Yes.
So it's, because I'm not as familiar with those movies, I could see where people would go into there and go, wait a minute, I can't take you seriously because you're DC, because of your movie character.
Yeah, that's it. But here's you had a problem, with your glasses and everything, things under the seat. I had a problem with somebody putting their food on the seat in the dark theater, and I sat down right in the ketchup. I had ketchup and tomato sauce all over my pants and shirt. It was just a huge mess. Well, they did give me a couple of tickets to make up for it, so it wasn't that horrible.
Yeah. I mean, come on, people, etiquette. It's about the etiquette. On the text line from Jim in Brookfield, glad to hear Gordy enjoyed Spinal Tap 2. My sister and I laughed from beginning to end with great cameos. So there you go.
Well, one of the things, the Marcus Theater chain, Greg Marcus appeared in a trailer, just before the movies start, and he was with Spinal Tap. He did this bit with Spinal Tap comedians, and they kept taking shots at him, and he was trying to respond to it. And it's very entertaining. He did 2 versions of that. I didn't see the second version, but I'd be interested in seeing that just before the movie.
If I could just editorialize on one thing about the movies, and look, I know that with every movie, the previews are somewhat tailored to the audience. The previews that they were showing yesterday before this rom-com, I forget if there were 3 or 4 of them, but every one of them was like just people being awful or doing awful things to each other. Like there's that new horror flick about the football player. There's another horror flick about these mass murders and somebody who survives a mass murder and something else. And there were only a couple of us in the theater, but I think my expletive might have been a little
a little loud.
I was just like, could we have something happy, please? Is anybody making a happy movie right now? And apparently,
well, you'd like Spinal Tap then. It was very funny all the way through. No politics at all in the movie at all. Nothing in there.
That's what I need. That is
I need to take a break.
Because I like it. I like what I do and everything, but I like to take a break. And so Saturday we went to one of our favorite watering holes. And when we got there, because we're kind of blue plate special people now at our age, there wasn't anybody else in the place. We knew it was going to get busier later on, but it was just us and the owner, who was sitting at a bar stool trying to have a piece of pizza. And he has never, like any good bartender, I've never heard him talk about politics ever.
Oh.
But as soon as he saw that it was only us, he just really? And I'm just expecting to get a break. I've got a beer. He just turns and says, I got to tell you something. And he's off to the races. And I'm like, all right, I'm back in work mode. Here we go. Let's talk politics. And we did. And I had no idea, what angle he was going to come from. And the same went for another fella that came up at a different bar. Apparently I go to a lot of bars, and came up and again introduced himself. And again, he asked me about something about politics. And when you don't know them, you have no idea which way this thing's going to go.
Right.
And I'm sure you get it not just about politics, but just about the show. Like, hey, you're those guys, aren't you? And then you're about to go, okay, here it comes.
Here we go.
We start walking backwards.
Back away slowly.
Comes with the territory, and then they go, oh, I really like what you do, or I really like what you stand for, or whatever. And then suddenly it's a whole different conversation. Like, hey, what's your name, and everything else.
Yeah, right.
And that's the nice part of it. But
did it work out for you with the bartender?
Yes. Oh, yes, it did. Yeah. Well, it worked out in the sense that his frustrations are my frustrations.
Okay, good.
With politics, so I wasn't really able to escape the politics, and I realized that we in the year 2025 still do not have the right response to how you doing, because I know you've asked it too. You've asked people how you doing, and it's like,
right,
and you gesture toward the whole world.
Yeah.
So we need I think we need a better question to ask, like, how's your health, or anything like that. So we're not just asking about the state of the world,
or how are you surviving?
How are you surviving might work, or just walk up to somebody and go, say something funny. Make me laugh, whatever case may be. We need that, and that's why people put you on the radio. John and Gordy, you can hear them on WMDX in Madison, or through the Civic Media app, or here on Mondays to help the grouchy old political guy feel better for at least a little while. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Pat.
Appreciate it so much. Have a great start to the week. All right, let's pause here. We'll continue live from the lake. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. thank you for listening to me ramble this morning.
All right. No, it's fun.
It's great.
Yeah, we like
I
it.
had
Yeah.
no purpose today. I will try to come up with a purpose next week.
Oh,
Well,
no, it's all fine.
we tried to find a purpose too. We didn't want to talk about, the Kirk Memorial. So
Right.
No. So that's true. We managed to avoid that. So
yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, now I have my topic for next half hour. Turn it loose. Let's go.
Okay.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
See you later.
Thanks.
Take
Tom.
care. Thanks.
When John asked how it went with the bartender, it really sounded like you were trying to pick up the bartender for a date. In my mind, I don't.
Apparently,
just the way
you haven't seen this bartender, but okay, I get it.
I'm sure. The way it was phrased, I went, "Oh,
Okay.
okay."
All right. Let's see. Let's go find some topics. getting near the end of the regular season for the Milwaukee Brewers, but thankfully there will be some postseason action as well. But as for the regular season, well, there's a 3-game series starting in San Diego tonight, and then tomorrow night, Wednesday afternoon, a day off on Thursday, then a homestand against the Cincinnati Reds Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then that does it for the regular season. Tonight's game against San Diego, the pregame coverage begins at 8:05 on several civic media stations. Head over to the website to learn more. And while you're there, check out again the details on the Go for the Green and Gold Text to Win contest, which we'll be doing in the 7 o'clock hour throughout this week and next week, where again, with that civic media app, you're going to text in a keyword and that'll get you entered for a big grand prize, tickets to see Green Bay versus Minnesota. It's a Green Bay home game, and you can get more details on the Go for the Green and Gold contest from Jane and Greg, part of Matt and Air on Air, coming up next here on the Civic Media Radio Network. The fall session of the legislature is getting going. We talked to State Senator Kelda Roys an hour ago. She's candidate for governor. And we talked about the package of education bills put forward by Democrats, the package of education bills put forward by Republicans. There's not a lot of common ground there. And unfortunately, it seems that even when there is a hint at common ground on something, there usually are some kinds of strings attached. And that appears to be the case with a different package of bills that Republicans are saying they'll introduce this week to deal with our elections, specifically absentee ballot drop boxes. Now, keep in mind that absentee ballot drop boxes were used for years in Wisconsin with no issues and with the support from both parties. Republicans really liked it because in rural areas, places with older populations, it was a matter of convenience. Democrats liked them in urban areas. Again, people who might have had busy schedules or young families. Again, they could drop off their ballots as securely as when you drop your mail off in the mailbox. All right. They're fine. They work. When Donald Trump knew he was going to lose the 2020 election to Joe Biden, and the documentation is there months before the election, he started laying the groundwork toward trying to steal the election, or at least to circumvent it or to cast doubt on its integrity. And one of the things that he flailed at was absentee ballot drop boxes. And then in the wake, for reasons I can only log as, quote, a cult of personality, unquote, suddenly so many Republicans didn't like absentee ballot drop boxes either. And there were court challenges, and there were conservative justices who said, yes, these things, it's like we just discovered them and they're bad and we have to get rid of them. Well, thanks to voters in Wisconsin, the state Supreme Court was put into progressive hands, and progressive justices looked at that and said, what are we talking about here? They work, they're fine, let them be. Let's turn to another matter, and then I'll bring the two together, and that is the processing of absentee ballots. Again, they're put into these envelopes. If you've ever filled one out, you know that you have to sign it. You have to get a witness to sign it. You have to put the address on there. Again, the ballot is sealed. You just know that there is an absentee ballot in there, and you either use the ballot drop box, or you mail it in, or you bring it back in person, or you fill it out in person at your local clerk's office. And then it goes into a box, goes into a locked box someplace until election day, when they're opened up. You have to check the addresses. You have to check to make sure the signatures are there and they're valid. And then you can open up the envelope. You can pull the ballot out, and then you can process them. Well, there's a lot of places, because they're big cities and there's only so much time and so many people and so many ballot counting machines, that in these larger cities, you have election results that don't come in until late at night. There's a way around that. And that would be to allow the absentee ballot envelopes to be checked the day before, make sure that they're good, toss out the ones that aren't. And that way, right away on election day, you can then just open them up, open up all the good ones. Then you can run the ballots through the machine. That makes sense too, right? Right. So Republicans are now saying they're willing to go along with this. Well, that's nice of them. I mean, for the past couple of election cycles, we've known, Republicans and Democrats alike, that processing the absentee ballot envelopes the day before would be a good thing. And yet Republicans in the legislature have fought against that, have not supported it for only one reason, and it has nothing to do with security. It enables some of them to continue the talking point, basically the conspiracy theory that, well, if the ballots are taking so long to count and the results are coming in the middle of the night, there must be something shady going on in bad old Milwaukee or Madison or Green Bay or Racine or Kenosha. There must be something that we can't trust there. But they won't, of course, pass the bill that would allow the processing of the absentee ballot envelopes so that you wouldn't have that talking point. Well, now we come to Republicans saying that this week, here comes a new package of election bills, and it would allow for Monday processing of the absentee ballots. Well, thank goodness. And it would allow, for widespread use of absentee ballot drop boxes. Well, yeah, there should be. But of course, here come the strings. And there are definitely strings attached to this, as explained yesterday on Upfront by Republican Representative Scott Krug, who is vice chair of the Assembly Elections Committee. And he said on the program, I think it's fair to say that some of these things, Republicans might not like them and Democrats might not like some of the things. Well, I don't know. There's definitely things for most people to not like in terms of the strings that are attached, because we're now suddenly treating absentee ballot drop boxes like they're Fort Knox, just waiting to be robbed or something. Because in return for Republicans supporting the Monday processing of absentee ballot envelopes, the bills include security changes for the drop boxes, including 24-hour video surveillance that must be live streamed on a municipality's website. So in other words, these cash-strapped local governments, whether it's a little township or a big city that's already having a tough time meeting expenses because of cuts by the state legislature, would now have to put 24-hour video cameras on the drop boxes and then reconfigure your websites to live stream a picture of a drop box, which I'm sorry, you're begging for people to just go to these drop boxes and put on a little theater presentation because they know they have an audience there. It serves no other role whatsoever. But wait, there's more. The ballots, according to this bill, would also need to be transferred from the drop box to a storage facility only under the constant supervision of a law enforcement officer. That's how little respect they have for law enforcement. I mean, you've already got police departments and sheriff's departments that they too are cash strapped. They too have better things to do. And yet the Republicans in the legislature would require that there be an officer or more to go to these drop boxes when these ballots are picked up. So let me ask you this. Are you aware of any mailboxes out there that are live streamed, that have 24-hour video surveillance, and that they're on the U.S. Postal Service website? No, because it doesn't happen. You know why? Because mailboxes are secure, and if you fiddle around with them, if you try to commit some kind of mail fraud or theft, that's a crime. You'll be charged with a crime. The same goes for absentee ballot drop boxes right now. If you monkey around with them, it's a crime. And who's going to take the risk of that to affect what? The 10 ballots that might be inside that box? But we're going to add a law enforcement officer that's got to be there like you're transferring gold bars. These are the strings that are attached in order to get Monday processing of absentee ballot envelopes. Why? Why can't we just have a clean bill? Why can't we ever just have a clean bill, an up or down vote? Are you okay with Monday processing of absentee ballots? If you're not, say so. Say you want to continue the conspiracy theory about late night ballot counting. but don't tie these strings. And then, of course, when they get voted down because they're ridiculous, they then get the talking point of, oh, the Democrats, they voted no on it. The Democrats voted no on election security. Yeah, they voted no on armed guards. I mean, why didn't you just ask for an armored car to be there to carry the ballots in as well? Maybe a full police motorcade. But always the strings and always the talking point, rather than just doing what is best and most efficient for our elections. And so my hope is, and my expectation is, that if these bills actually make it to the floor, and frankly in the committee process as well, the Democrats will put up amendments that would strip out the ridiculousness. Maybe even find some other kind of middle ground, whatever it may be, whether it's strengthening the penalties that already exist for monkeying with absentee ballot drop boxes or something else. But get us to the point where we can do the Monday processing. Have some more respect for your local clerks. Have some more respect for your local law enforcement. And stop making them engage in all of this performative politics, so that you can continue talking points rather than having elections that just do what they already do here. They are safe, they are fair, they are efficient, and in the ways that they could be made better, just make them better and stop screwing around with them. Oh, but speaking of screws, how's that for a transition? The headline from the New York Times: Trump's tariffs are damaging America's biggest foreign source of screws. Taiwan has long been a top provider of screws to the United States, but the factories are struggling to survive because of Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum. Most people know Taiwan as making all the semiconductors and other electronics. It's a lot of intricate work, but then there's that everyday, essential, almost invisible component of everyday objects, writes the New York Times: screws. But Taiwan screw makers are wondering how their businesses will survive over the next few months. And to what degree will China gain ground in the meantime? Because again, it's not like this is going to be creating American jobs. We're not opening up some kind of new markets for American screw makers. Okay. These are tiny things that are best made overseas more cost effectively, but now they won't be, along with everything else that is more expensive. Now think of the things that require lots and lots of screws. At Courier Newsroom, we've had a video series for a time. I'm not sure if the person still does it or not, but this would be a perfect episode for it, talking about the things that you don't normally see in politics, but are working against you, the ways that you're being nickeled and dimed. Instead, the name of the series is You're Probably Getting Screwed. And in this case, it is quite literal. So again, a story in the New York Times, one of the many ways that a made-up trade war is hurting rather than helping our economy. Some final news and notes from Lake Wissota and a preview of Matt and Air on Air with Jane Matnair coming up in just a bit. I'm Pat Kreitlow. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. And there's Jane now.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm screwed. How are you?
Actually, you're not screwed, which is the bigger problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well done, Jane.
Said. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. How was your weekend?
It was uneventful. Trying to.
Lovely.
We're going through things. So I went through CDs that we haven't listened to in 20 years.
Oh, you're going through things. I thought you meant you were having a rough time of it or something.
No, we're going through. We're literally going through junk.
You know what? I that's going to be happening here soon. And I've got a name for it. It's called.
Oh, good. Don't tell me. Wait, save it.
Okay, I'll save it. Yeah.
Save it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what you're doing here. I like that.
It's a tease. Ooh,
yes.
I'm intrigued. I know. I'll stay.
All right. Son of a gun. I of all the notes I have, and the problem is I have too many of them, and I don't put things in front of me. And I had, because do you have Jocasta and Kareen on?
We do today.
Okay.
Yep. Jocasta
I-
first and then Kareen in hour number 2.
See, I had it here and I forgot to mention it earlier. Okay.
Yep.
Well, at least we know now. There's another spoiler alert, folks. I'm sorry, we can only hold so much back from you.
Oh, we're doing secret show. Secret show.
Yes.
Secret show.
Secret show.
There you
There we go. Now that feels better. Oh man.
How long have you been in your house, Pat?
30 years this year.
30 years. We've been in
Yep.
ours 24. It's
Mhm.
amazing how much junk you accumulate.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
incredible.
Yep.
I swear it reproduces
Did,
in the basement.
I don't know if I told you what we're going to do with my mom's place. If she passes before me, I've told her this because she's not a hoarder in the TV sense,
Right.
but she's got a lot of stuff she doesn't need. And we joke about throwing it all out, and she'll be like, some of the stuff you're going to want to go through. So, Mom, no, we're getting a very large one of those large long dumpsters. And I said, we're laying you lovingly and gently down at the bottom of it.
Bad.
And then we're emptying out that place. We're putting all that stuff all around you. I'm floating it down the Mississippi, and we're going to get an archer with a flaming arrow.
I love it.
We're giving you the Viking funeral
Of
and
your
we're
dreams.
getting rid of all of your stuff in the
I
meantime.
love that idea.
she
love
she did
that
laugh.
idea.
She's like, okay, that actually would take care of things.
You know what's hard though is that because we don't have kids, but my nieces and nephews, I have antique, we have old antique furniture, which I love.
Yeah.
They don't want that stuff.
No, they don't. Yep. All right, here we go. All right, Jane Matnair is here. Matnair on air coming up next across the Civic Media Radio Network. And Jane's going through some stuff.
We are literally going through things.
Literally going through
Literally.
things, which we're going to get to in just a minute. But first, we've got to talk about what's coming up because you got candidates today.
We do. We are going to be talking to Jocasta Zamaripa, who is an alderperson in the city of Milwaukee, and she is running for Secretary of State. So Jocasta is going to be joining us after the 9:30 news. And then in hour number 2, she's been a guest many times on our show, a former daycare provider in northern Wisconsin. Kareen Hendrickson is going to be joining us. She, of course, had to close her child care facility
in
after
New Glarus.
struggling
Yes.
for so many years trying to hang on. And now she's running for office. And I am thrilled to talk to her about this. She's had some pretty interesting things she shared with us when she's talked to some of our lawmakers and their opinion, let's say, on who should be providing child care and what they should get paid for.
Yes. I think they did everything but say little lady.
Yes.
But-
Oh, sweetie, if you just stay home and take care of all your neighbors' kids, we wouldn't have this problem.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
We first noticed Green when she testified before a congressional committee, and she said it was a somewhat spur of the moment thing when she was going to be in D.C. Somebody knew about it, said, hey, come talk to this committee about it, and it was so heartfelt and said so well, and she'd become basically the leading advocate for childcare in Wisconsin over these past couple of years.
Yes.
That I'm not surprised her frustration would lead her to this point to run for a seat in the state Senate, because you get so tired of watching this legislature just ignore big problems.
Well, and I can't imagine the frustration when you do actually get faced, the rare opportunity when you do get to sit down face to face with some of these lawmakers and they essentially just listen and nod and go, yeah, bye, see ya.
Yeah. Yep.
You do that enough times, it's like, yeah, I think maybe I could do a better job.
And she is hoping to do that with Howard Markline, the co-chair of the Joint Finance Committee. Although there will be a primary, she is one of 3 Democrats running in the Senate 17th Senate District, and she'll be talking to Jane about that just over an hour from now. But as far as going through some stuff, because Jane and I are both thinking about, at some point we're going to have to clean out our respective residences, which
Downsize a little bit.
downsize a little, or at least lighten the load when apparently you get enough silver upstairs, and there's a critical mass and enough gray hair triggers the neurons that say we got to get rid of some of the stuff.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's what you're doing right now.
Yep, that's where we are right now. So that's what I did over the weekend. We have, and this is just an indication of how old we are, but we still have a big cabinet full of CDs.
Yep,
which
same.
we haven't played. I play CDs every Christmas as background music, and they rotate on the CD player and things.
Yes.
But other than that, I haven't listened to any of these CDs in probably 15, 20 years.
Exactly.
And so I went through those. And why I'm hanging on to still probably 100 of them is a question that will last throughout time. Yeah.
You're not going to believe this. So we've got the CDs, we got DVDs, but we did finally get rid of the VHS tapes. I mean, we just don't. And I got rid of the cassette tapes. There's a handful of them that might have news stories from back in the day or whatever.
Right.
But the music ones, and I used to have a whole bunch of blank ones, and they went away. The 11-year-old grandson, last time he came to visit, was asking if we had any, because cassette
Cassettes?
recorders were what they were like teaching the kids to. It was like some kind of OG way to do something with technology and recording yourself. I think it's like a step before you can teach, here's how a computer operates. It's
sure.
Here's the technology that got us there. And he thought for sure I'd have some cassettes to give him to take back to school, and I didn't have any.
Oh, rats.
It's like, let's make a deal, when Monty Hall would come over and go, or Wayne Brady does it today. I'll give you so much if you've got, a cassette tape in your purse.
In your purse, right?
I don't have a cassette tape anymore.
Oh, that's a shame. I have some old air checks he can have.
No, those are going in a museum someplace.
Oh, yeah.
Like the rest of us,
Yes, exactly.
We're just museum pieces. And so, yeah, I'm getting close to that stage now. And are you familiar with, there's all these different declutter, people at the workplace and whatever.
Joy Condu and whatever.
Yes.
I don't do that. No.
And one of them has a theory called touch it once. In other words, if you get, like, say, here's a piece of mail, and I have not opened it yet, and it's sitting over here, and at some point I'm going to move it over here. And at some point I'm going, I'll get to that pile there. I'm going to move it over here.
Yes.
And the theory is, if you've touched it, deal with it, get it out of the way. I'm not very good at that, but it does set up the name of what I'm going to be doing with my stuff when it's time to go through there. I've got something called touch it one more time, because there are things down there, again, dating back to childhood and college and early career, and you always they're like a little comforting thing to have around. Like, oh, look at this, honey, this is when we were dating. Here's the first card you got me. And it's like, we don't need that anymore. So we've
been together a long time, honey. Yeah.
Yep. We're going to touch this. We're going to touch this record one more time, or my Boy Scout handbook. Why do I still have my Boy Scout handbook? I don't know.
Because you remembered all of it anyway, Pat.
Yes,
you don't need to that handbook.
Right,
it's part of your life.
It's part of the technology, like a cassette recorder. That's how useful it is. So yeah, I've said as we get closer to that phase, it's like, touch it one more time, say, yep, I will miss it, and get it out of there. And don't make your daughters or anybody else have to do that for you. Otherwise, they're just going to put it all in a dumpster and light it on fire.
Seriously, I'm just glad to know that I'm not the only one who does that with paperwork. I have at least 4 piles before it even makes it into my office. And then it gets divided into more piles, which is the shred pile and the file pile. And then I don't even know what I'm going to do with this pile.
So many piles.
Many piles.
Many a time I've just said, my to-do list just says the pile. And I know what I mean. Go take the pile down. Thank you, Jane. Have a great show.
You too.
You will hear Jane coming up from 9 to 11 weekdays, along with Greg Bach for Matt and Air on Air. I'm Pat Kreitlow. Thanks for starting your Monday here with us. We'll see you bright and early Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. back here up north. All right. Thank you, Jane. All right. Bye, live stream.